Yo, what is up? This is DPS Podcast. That's Damage Per Second Podcast, episode number 58. We are back here once again on a fine Thursday evening with the homie Gaming Forte. I am your host tonight, Slow-Mo Backslap. Forte, what's up, man? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. What? Yo, what is going on? Wow. It's I don't know why it's not working. This is crazy. Why? Look, here's the thing, right? I saw your levels going up before and I was like, "Here, we're good." But now it's like it's not working and
Yeah, I already knew.
There we go. All right, we're good. Okay. My bad, y'all. My bad.
Guess you can't
Let's
say.
do that one more time. Forte, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. I guess we can't say that this only happens on my channel anymore. Okay,
It happens on your channel like every time you host, but like sure, yeah, it happened one time.
It didn't happen the last couple of weeks that I host, but you know, if I mute you, I do it by
but on purpose.
On purpose, right?
Right.
On purpose.
I'm glad you finally admit that.
I mean, the chat basically told on me, so it is what it is. They can't even. I can't rely on them to keep a secret. So
how you gonna keep a secret? Doing a live podcast.
They didn't have to tell you that.
Yeah, they did. I'm glad they did.
No, listen,
our community is a bunch of honest, true gamers who show their gamer tags and PSN IDs and don't allow for lies to be told. So
I agree with that 100%. Always show your gamer tags. Never put your stuff to private. Ain't nobody gonna come to your house and
nope.
They ain't gonna come to your house. They too scared out here.
Yo, the same dudes that don't want to show their gamer tag be the same guys that be out here talking about come see me. I'ma shoot you. I'ma come. Like, what are you talking about, man?
I know.
You say it's a security risk, but you about to clap people? What's going on? It's crazy. It's crazy. But look, let's get into the show. Let's get into the topics, man. First thing, a little mini topic I wanted to get into because it's something that I saw. I think a little bit. I think this came out yesterday, but I didn't really see it like that until today. But the gameplay I got showing right now is Rise of the Tomb Raider on PC. Still looks a great game.
Ask you why too, but I just remembered why.
Great looking game. I've been playing through it. You know, so I figured like I bought it on sale on Steam. Why not play through it? So I'm near the end. This is showing the beginning of the game, but. Who made this game, Forte?
Crystal
Dynamics. And this is a really good game, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not the best of all of them, but it is a really good game.
Well, which one you think is the best out of the three? I know you haven't played Shadow, so I guess
haven't played Shadow. I heard Shadow was terrible.
It's not terrible. It's just not as good as Rise.
Put it this way. I think Shadow's definitely better than this. I'm very tied to the first one. I like the first one the most because it was the origin story, and I think the way they handled it was really, really well done. Where this one was more like she is the Tomb Raider in this one, where she became the Tomb Raider in the first one. So gameplay wise, I think this one is like Rise is far superior. I just think the overall story was a little bit better in the first one.
Now I do agree the story was better in the first one, but I think this one plays better.
Oh, it plays way better. Yeah,
it looks better. Right, the gameplay, they kind of like got their like they improved upon the actual cover shooting and gameplay. It's although Shadow
FX works better. The Tress FX works better in this one too.
Yeah,
way better in this one.
So it's a better. Although again, the first one has a better story, but this just kind of shows like with these games. Forte, were they single player or multiplayer?
They were single player. They did have multiplayer. No, they were all single player. The multiplayer stuff was like a co-op thing that they did.
Yeah. Well, real quick, one shout out to people in the chat because I forgot to do that. Shout out to that guy Smitty who was here first. What's up, bro? Stardust Acero. Michi dies a lot. Arcade after his passion. You slandering me, Ramon Terrell, Franco and Franco Tech. Thank you guys for being here. Hope you having a good evening. We're gonna have a great show. Yeah, I asked that question because like I wonder why Crystal Dynamics felt that I'm sorry, not Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix, the publisher, felt that after they were made 2 successful Tomb Raider games, that it was time for them to do a games as a service. Like it made sense to me that you secured the Avengers, like as big as the MCU is, you secured the Avengers IP to make a game, and you said we gotta get our best studio that makes the best studio for narratives because people love their comic book stories. We gotta get our best studio for that on it. Let's go get Crystal Dynamics. Cool. But then why make it a looter shooter games as a service game? Is that what people care about when it comes to the Avengers? I don't think so. I mean, maybe it's just me or literally every single person I've ever heard that talk about that game. You know, that doesn't seem to make sense at all, right? Shout out to Game Over Brian with the $5 super chat. He says, "Slow, I'm still waiting on you to sign your Pegasus Nation contract." Forte, I was able to contract you as also. Welcome to the nation, brothers. Brian? Brian? I was really waiting for you to ask about trophies popping, but you didn't this time, which shocked me.
That means it's coming later.
But Brian, ain't no way in the world.
You don't want to be a mythical horse?
No, ain't no way in the world I'm ever joining Pegasus Nation. That's not happening, sir. Not at all.
I thought you liked the Pegasus Nation.
I like the people in it. You know, I'm cool with everybody in Pegasus Nation.
You like you
won't see me repping it though. That's not happening.
So you like being a scum guzzler instead?
Not just no, but hell no. Okay, nobody is repping the whole Scum Guzzler thing, but Luca and maybe 2 other people. Everyone else in the Legion of Scum is like, nah, Legion of Scum, that Scum Guzzler stuff, you can keep all that. No. So anyway, look. The reason why this is all being brought up is because Square Enix, I guess this was a interview, and I'll try to switch over to it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But there was an interview in regards to Square Enix. I think it was Square Enix's CEO that did this. And so I'm switching over to it now. And this was, Square Enix boss, Yusuke Masuda, who insinuated that Crystal Dynamics may have been the wrong studio for Marvel's Avengers. Let's take a look at this here. He says via a report with VGC that taking on the game as a service model highlighted issues that we are likely to face in future game development efforts, such as the need to select game designs that mesh with the unique attributes and taste of our studios and development teams. Now, okay, first of all,
that's a loaded it's a loaded statement from every direction you can think of.
Okay, first of all, this part here, likely to face in future development efforts. Don't that sound like they're going to continue on trying to make games as a service games?
Yeah, because that's exactly what it means. they haven't learned from the
anything.
The 2 to 3 failed games that they had. I think the only one that's actually, well, they have 2. As much as we give Division crap, Division actually did succeed to an extent, and their most profitable games as a service is Rainbow Six. I mean, not Rainbow Six.
But all that's Ubisoft.
That's Ubisoft. Yeah.
This is Square Enix, who has not done anything in this realm at all.
I got them completely confused because Square Enix actually hasn't done anything when it comes to this. And like the one thing that kind of is like crazy to me is Sloman, you can ask, maybe I'm crazy, I don't know. But
you are crazy, but continue on.
I am crazy, but why? First of all, why would you put Crystal Dynamic, a narrative-driven, cinematic, single-player-driven studio, on a games as a service that they've never worked on before? Now, I know we have instances of studios going outside of their comfort zone. You know, see Guerrilla. You know, Guerrilla went from a first-person shooter
Respawn.
You look at Playground Games. We haven't seen what Fable looks like yet, but the fact that they're attempting it, we have and seeing what they're doing with, you know, the Forza tech and the HD cameras and stuff they're using in the game, it gives us kind of a good hope on at least that we know Fable is going to be a really good looking game. Don't know what it's going to play like yet, but we know it's going to be a great looking game nevertheless.
Yeah.
I've never seen Crystal Dynamic make anything like Avengers before. Now, if that game was, and I think you really did hit it on the head yesterday on Brap, where it was like, if this was just a narrative game, because I hear the game by itself is fine. I hear the single player, like the beginning to end, where you're just playing by yourself.
The main campaign is very good.
Really good. Camilla, I hear a lot of
Kamala Khan.
Yeah, I hear a lot of appreciation for Kamala Khan's character in the game, how they really lived up to the expectations of what people thought of that character, and they did really well with that. I hear Ryan the Professional, aka Big Cloud, talk about how he wished the Black Panther portions of the game was something that could have been completely done separate, and you said you haven't gotten there yet, but I hear how a lot of people said that, like, yo, they could have splitted this off and made it its own thing.
All of the extra DLC after the campaign are all story-driven DLC focusing on new Avengers that get added to the team. I mean, literally, they could have just made this a single-player game and then have that be added expansions that since they want to make money so much and they made this a games as a service game. They could have just added that be like paid expansions added on the back end. Like, let me get this last part of the quote here. While the new challenge that we tackled with this title produced a disappointing outcome, I can't believe he actually admitted that. Like, most executives will never really admit when they have done it. You know, something has been disappointing. But
no, this is Square Enix. You forget they told us that Tomb Raider selling 8 million was a disappointment. Yeah. They told us Hitman 3 when it released didn't live up to sales expectations. When we're sitting there like, yo, that game is fire.
They kicked IO Interactive out, threw the Hitman IP at them on the way out, and was like,
right. Take your clothes and leave our facilities, and you can't come back. It's like, so yeah, I'm not shocked when he said this. I was like, I said any other CEO might get fired for saying something like this when it comes to one of their IPs and one of their studios and properties and stuff like that. But guess what? Nope, they're brazen enough just to go out there and say, yo, this ain't it. I mean, I love their candor. I love their honesty about it, but it doesn't, it almost is like the opposite of Xbox. You know how we always talk about.
I wish their candor matched their, like, I wish their publishing management abilities match their candor is what I want to say.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
Because clearly this was not Crystal Dynamics' choice to make the game a games as a service. It was their choice. They tried to make
it seem like it was their choice, though, the way that statement came out.
Right. And so he continued on, we are certain that the games as a service approach will grow in importance as gaming becomes more service oriented. How we go about creating new experiences by incorporating this trend into our game design is a key question that we will need to answer going forward. So it's wild, right? Because what we've seen from the Avengers, not the Avengers game, but Guardians of the Galaxy,
made by
Eidos Montreal, who the game has I think it got an unfair rap with a really bad trailer and the all the disappointment from the Avengers game kind of like carried over, but
Didn't help it.
didn't help it at all. But when you have a quality game, it will supersede all those things. And so, because the Avengers game is really not the Avengers, I keep saying Avengers game, the Guardians of the Galaxy game is really good. People recognize the value in it. Single player game though, single player narrative driven third person perspective game, very much in the vein of the kind of games that we're looking at right now with Tomb Raider. And it's just like, why didn't you just have them do that? The difference between Crystal Dynamics' Avengers in development and say Respawn Entertainment and the way Playground Games is going about Fable is Respawn actually started a whole second studio.
Yeah.
For Jedi Fallen Order.
Sure did.
Had some veterans from their Titanfall team helping run it, but they hired people who had made third person perspective games like Jedi Fallen Order before. They hired people who had expertise in that so that they didn't get caught up thinking they knew how to do something that they didn't know how to do. Playground Games has rehired people that were used to be at Lionhead Studios. That in Lionhead, they started Fable. They've hired people who have won a lot of experience in action combat, action RPGs, as well as just people who are well versed in RPGs. Period, because Playground has made racers for their entire existence. Makes sense that you would go bring in some people who are really good at making the kind of game you want. And guess what they also did? A second studio. Crystal Dynamics didn't get that luxury. And we've seen from how Square Enix has treated developers with, say, like People Can Fly and Outriders. More than likely, they weren't going to give them the kind of budget necessary and the money necessary to build a whole new studio specifically for this. So it's crazy, man. Go ahead.
No, it is crazy. And I'm going to say something that I've always felt about all these different studios going after this games as a service thing. And it's not just because I love Destiny, but the thing is, everybody stop trying to be something that you're not.
Yes.
Stop trying to chase the ghost of Destiny. Like Destiny
not
doesn't
that.
even.
Not that.
No, it's
stop trying. Game, no, you're right. The first parts are right. Stop trying to be something you're not. Crystal Dynamics is not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Well,
Bungie,
that's the biggest thing.
Or Massive Entertainment or any other studio, not Digital Extremes. They're not these studios that make these kind of games.
Right. Stop it.
They're right now helping the initiative make Perfect Dark, which is going to be single player.
Yep.
And that's good. That's more, even though it's first person perspective, or regardless of that, that's more in their vein. Narrative driven, single player, that's the kind of game that they're going to make. Like, that's good. And like, it's not a knock on them that they didn't succeed with the Avengers when they weren't really given the opportunity and the tools to do so. So blaming them.
That game was late to the party too.
Yeah, so like blaming them.
Go ahead.
And blaming them for what happened with that game. It smacks of just like really not owning the accountability, because whose decision was it to make it a games as a service game?
Facts.
Clearly, with your statements, you're going to continue on looking for making those kind of games because you think the industry is going towards service-oriented games, period. So clearly, that was your decision. You're going to continue trying to do this going forward. But now, in the meantime, so that for your investors to feel confidence in you doing that, you decide to throw Crystal Dynamics under the bus.
So I'm going to tell you, like you just said, why to an extent Destiny works and why these other studios it doesn't work the way it's doing it. You hit it right on the head. Like when I say stop trying to be something you're not, the reason Destiny worked is because it wasn't because Activision Activision front $500 million up front definitely helped. But Activision didn't come to them with the idea of Destiny. Destiny was made because Bungie wanted to make it. They made that game be the game that they wanted to make, and they published that game underneath Activision with the understanding that Activision was going to flip the bill on the game they were making. And Bungie still had full creative control on the way that the game was being done. The difference was Activision just had say-so in the cadence on the release dates of when projects would get released under their care. That was Activision's whole part of it. Square Enix and Crystal Dynamic, they basically said, "Oh, Marvel came to them saying, hey, who wants to make a Marvel game?" And they're sitting there like, "Oh, we got Crystal Dynamic that can make one, but hey, we also want to try to get into this whole games as a service market, because at this point, you already got games like The Division out there. You got games out there like less so like Ghost Recon, like Wildlands and stuff. Those are looter-based games where they're not completely online, but they're still kind of based in the same lane that you go around collecting loot and stuff. There is a beginning, middle, and an end to those games, but you can still play with your friends and do more and more things. And then you got, games like Apex Legends and Fortnite and stuff out there. So Square is looking at this like, we don't have anything like this. Even 2K has 2 or 3 games like this. 2 really, when you talk about Grand Theft Auto Online, and NBA 2K, which basically is a games as a service that's masquerading as a sports game because people spend billions of dollars on that game annually every year. Yeah. So Square is looking at this like, we need to get a piece of this pie. How are we going to do it? Oh, let's take our best narrative team that comes up with really good set pieces in their stories and say, no, we're not going to let you be great at what you're always been great at. We're going to handicap you a little bit. We're going to say, we want you to work in the frame rate of what Marvel wants to do inside of an Avengers game. They probably were like, oh, that sounds amazing. And then once they signed that contract, they found out that, this is what we want. We want you to have equipable items on characters that they can't see. We want you to have DLC structures in the game where none of the stuff is going to go from game. It's not going to go from character to character. Hold on, real quick. And you got to wait 3 years for some
that
stuff
should have been a deal breaker immediately.
They have no say in that though.
No. Because Marvel did not want their characters looking like. You know how like you could put all kinds of weird stuff on people, and like remember the whole kerfuffle with EA and Battlefront and Pink Vaders and stuff like that, right? So
but Pink Vaders,
Marvel didn't want their Avengers looking not like the Avengers,
Okay,
but you're a looter. You're trying to make a looter. What's the point of having loot that people can't see?
Well, they thought people would get over that.
But that you don't know anything about people who play looters.
I like to see it.
Yeah, I like to see what I just got. If I'm putting in all this work, hours upon hours of work to get this particular weapon or this particular piece of armor, I want to see what it looks like. Right. And the fact that you couldn't do that should have been a deal breaker immediately, that this isn't the kind of project that you need to turn into a looter.
I agree, 100%.
Any approved outfits or costumes that you get Marvel to sign off on should have been collectibles that you could find in the environment, in the world, the way that it is with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And the fact that you just couldn't realize that you were making a massive mistake even then. It's just like, these are things that immediately people was like, yo, I don't like that. Like, how do you not know that gamers didn't want this at all? Is crazy. It's just
well, that's because they thought that the medium was so brand new still. Even though Destiny is a very popular game, it's still only 7 years old when you think about just the lifespan of how these games have been playing themselves out. So a lot of people think they could kind of change the formula still. They think there's still room to grow it, and there is a lot of room still to grow in the looter shooter and just games as a service market. But the biggest thing that they ain't realizing is you can't follow a ghost. Everybody has a different way of doing it. I will tell you that Division, and I'm saying this because I love you, Division was great. The first one, loved everything about it. I put over 400 or 500 hours in that game. I literally wasn't playing Destiny. I found something that really, it was like the whole New York vibe of it, snowstorms and everything was really cool. And I played predominantly by myself in that game. I didn't play with other people really. I would go into the dark zone to do solo, dark zone runs and stuff like that. Got my level in the dark zone all the way up to 97 before I decided to quit the game. And it was great. So they were on to something. You know why? Because they were different. They weren't exactly trying to do something that someone else was doing. And it just seems
survival
like all
mode,
these other
underground.
Yes, it's survival. Look, one of the I think that's part of the reason why Division 2 kind of failed, because most of the stuff that they had in the first one, they just completely just said either we forgot that it was a thing, or we just thought that people didn't like it enough, so we're gonna do something different. And I'm
they went chasing Destiny. Like. They literally chased Destiny. They replaced Underground and Survival with 8-man raids.
8-man raids.
Nobody asked for that. We had incursions, which, look, incursions are like mini raids. They don't take as long to complete, but you need to have all the coordination, have the right builds and all that stuff to complete them. And they got better at each raid, each incursion. The first one, Dragon, was Dragons. I can't remember the name, but it was
the one with the big old the
big tank. Yeah, the big
APC in it. Yeah,
that one was pretty basic in design, but you had to have a very specific set of gear to complete it. By the time they started to really get better and better as they went on with I think it was like Clear Sky was the second one, and the third one was actually really good. And then with the fire truck that was spitting fire at you, but the last one, Lost Signal. Perfection.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's 100%. Just like, yo, you had it down. Like, you had incursions that people enjoyed. You had the Underground, which was like, now, and here's the funny thing is that like all these other developers in the industry are still in their bars now.
Yep. Exactly.
DICE is doing a version of the Dark Zone.
They are.
Multiple games have taken the whole Underground with randomly generated maps the way they had in the Underground, and they're taking that and doing that too. Right. Like Survival was like a battle royale, but the environment made it so much tougher because you weren't just fighting against other players and trying to survive before you succumb to the disease, but you were fighting against the environment too. These are all original ideas that you completely left with the first game to chase making raids that you didn't make as good as the company you were copying them from. And why would people want to play raids with you when they can just, if they wanted raids, they know where to go to get raids? It's just, so this is, long story short, this is the similar situation with Square Enix trying to chase something that, and we see it with Ubisoft. We talked about Ubisoft doing this now, because Ubisoft is literally anything that's hot, any game that does something that is popular and works, they're trying to take one of their 5,000 teams, it seems like, and do the exact same thing. Like, y'all need, at least wish these publishers would stop chasing the trends. Let your studios do what they do well. And even if you do put them in a situation where they have to make a game like this, actually give them the tools to make it happen. Why you're setting them up for failure? It makes no sense. So all right,
it's gonna be interesting to see exactly how it plays itself out. A lot of people just want a studio to do what they're good at, and it was a nice attempt. I won't say that they shouldn't have attempted, but I also think that they didn't set the studio up with the best intentions on how it should play itself out. Right.
But that was supposed to be actually a quick topic, and it turned into 30 minutes. Let's just move on. Next topic here is actually something that's a little bit more disappointing. And it's about Blizzard Activision. So fortunately,
Rest in peace.
fortunately, this isn't about them turning out to be sexually harassing or assaulting any more women. At least not that we know of. So at least that's good, right? We can be happy that that's not
rest solace in that.
Right. But apparently, this is actually, I will say this. This could be looked as bad or good depending on how you look at it. Now, I'll say why. So, Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 have officially been delayed, and these both games have been delayed. I'll find the actual quote about this. Matter of fact, maybe I'll try to pull it up too. Give me a second.
Yeah, take time, bro.
But so what happened is they're delaying both games, and if back in the day, old school Blizzard before they got with Activision used to be known for delaying their games, making sure they were ready to go when they were ready to go. Not like, and even to the point where, hey, we might actually choose to cancel the game. And because canceling the game was better than releasing a game that wasn't on par with our standards. And so maybe this is, darn it, it didn't turn up the way I thought it would. Never mind. I'll go back. But no, I'll just read it out here. So it says, as we have worked with new leadership in Blizzard within the franchises themselves, particularly in certain key creative roles, it has become apparent that some of the Blizzard content planned for next year will benefit from more development time to reach its full potential. While we are still planning to deliver a substantial amount of content from Blizzard next year, we are now planning for a later launch for Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 than originally envisioned. These are two of the most eagerly anticipated titles in the industry, and our teams have made great strides towards completion in recent quarters, but we believe giving the team some extra time to complete production and continue growing their creative resources to support the titles after launch will ensure that these releases delight and engage their communities for many years into the future. These decisions will push out the financial uplift that we had expected to see next year, but we are confident that this is the right course of action for our people, our players, and the long-term success of our franchises. So, all that said, Forte, what do you think about this? What do you think about Blizzard delaying the two pretty much the marquee games that they have in development right now? And do you think this is actually a return of the old Blizzard, the old ways with Blizzard, now that a lot of the leadership have taken the L and resigned, and the only one left is Mike Ybarra, who isn't actually tied to any of the abuses that happened in the past because he was with Microsoft at that time?
No, I do think Mike kind of does want to get back to the bases when it comes to that. The unfortunate thing is he never expected himself to be in this situation. Now, maybe he always wanted to be ahead of Blizzard and stuff, but I don't think this is the way that he wanted it to go down. So it was kind of like celebrating it, but on top of that, you got to find a way to put out 1,000 fires in 1,000 different places. And this doesn't surprise me when it comes to these delays, because with so much stuff that's been going on just at Blizzard, and now you have the stuff that's going on with Activision and everything like that, it's just at a certain point where morale at this company cannot be good at all. It's like people probably don't want to be there, and when people don't want to be somewhere, but of course they're going to probably still do their jobs because you are being paid, in some people's cases, probably a king's ransom to be making some of these games. So they don't want to jeopardize the money that they're making, but that doesn't mean that they're going to be over enthusiastic about trying to get stuff done on deadlines and stuff. So I can just imagine what the overall perception of the company inside of it with the associates and all of the developers kind of feels like. So I always expected delays to start hitting. I'm shocked that we're still getting the Call of Duty. It might be coming in super hot. We have seen a lot of stuff from the trailers and everything, and the single player looks really good. But I guess we'll know tomorrow when it comes to that game. Is it going to have like any issues and stuff out the door? They haven't.
But that's not Blizzard. That's really
no,
like
I'm
the
just
other
saying,
parts
but
of
that's just a
Activision.
company.
Yeah.
It's just a company in general. Like Blizzard is just Activision is the overlord right now, and Blizzard is just underneath all of it, and they're going to kind of follow suit with everything that's going on with Activision. And then on top of that, they have really big games like you talked about in development that we haven't really seen anything from. You know, when we sit there and we look at BlizzCon, where they put out, what was the name of the mobile game that they put out? The Diablo game that nobody wanted to play. I forget what it was called.
Diablo Immortal, I think.
Yeah, Immortal.
Yeah,
and the guy got up and asked the questions like, and he said, "Are you guys? Is this like a prank?" What, I forget what the dude said.
He said, "Is this an out of season April Fool's joke?" Is what he said.
This is an out of season April Fool's joke. I was like, listen. They didn't have anything for you then. They still don't have anything for you now. So this is just, it's just all bad there. I do think it's going to get better before it gets even worse, because how much worse can you be delaying two of your pivotal key titles? World of Warcraft has been seeing, downward spirals in just people playing the game over the course of the last couple of years and stuff. There have been expansions that kept people into it. WoW Classic came and actually helped with that a little bit too. But those people are just going to be diehard people to just WoW in general. That does nothing to do with just Blizzard. They lost a lot of their steam where they had in like their Hearthstone community. StarCraft has kind of fallen off completely. So it's like, what is the identity of Blizzard anymore? I mean, other than a studio that makes really good looking trailers that.
But see, that right there is my point. Them delaying these games, it seems like a return. Hopefully, but maybe I'm being optimistic here, and I really have no reason to be
being optimistic. Ain't nothing wrong with that, though.
But like what I'm saying is that like them delaying these games seems to be kind of like a return of the old Blizzard, at least the old Blizzard ideal that if it's not ready, it doesn't get released. Whereas in the past, they don't even show it, right? Or it gets canceled. And in the past, what we've known before a lot of Blizzard's mainstay people left was, there was a lot of interference from Activision and a aggressive pressuring to release games at a cadence that allowed them to be able to speak to investors and say, hey, look what we're releasing in this quarter, right. Continue to keep investing with us, yada yada yada, versus actually making sure that the game is ready. So to me, it kind of seems like hopefully they're kind of getting back to that, and that games that people are actually looking forward to are actually going to be ready when they come out. Now, I've heard from some people who are Overwatch fans that the Overwatch community is kind of over it. That they're a little, they're just like, whatever. They're just kind of done with everything, which is unfortunate. But I do think that good games, if the game is good, they'll come back. Like, it doesn't matter
for that developer.
Right.
Like, that developer Blizzard can be driven. They can be drove through the mud, but they have such iconic IPs that people love to play. Like, I am a huge Diablo person. Overwatch was a surprise for me. I didn't expect Overwatch to take off as big as it did. I mean, when it won Game of the Year, what was it, 2015? People were calling
2016.
2016, yeah, it was like crazy, but I mean, it wasn't that it was a bad game. It was just people never really saw a multiplayer only game like that win Game of the Year. So it kind of solidified itself as a powerhouse then. And I was always a Diablo fan, so just seeing Diablo kind of just sputtering along over the course of like this entire last generation has kind of been a little disheartening, because we don't know exactly what it's going to be. Are we going to get more of the improvements that they had from D3 without the auction house stuff that kind of tore the game down from limb to limb? Ways to be seen. But, we do have Rod Ferguson over there. I think he's going to bring a fresh idea and identity to the game and stuff, which I think is going to definitely need it to be helped. And that's the one thing I think a lot of people do forget. Mike Ibarra is over there. He does have some people like Ibarra, a lot of people don't. They just didn't like his cockiness attitude. But the one thing I do know he was a starch Blizzard fan
Mhm.
before he even joined Blizzard. Like, if you watched his streams when he was on Mixer, he was always playing World of Warcraft. He was always playing Diablo. He was a huge PUBG person. So I think they have the right person in the position to take over the company. I just think he didn't expect it to go down the way that it went, but he's being thrust into that situation. And it's just going to take time for them to finally get these games up and moving out of the door. And they knew they just need to get that Blizzard quality back, because that was the one thing about Blizzard. When you saw a Blizzard game, you knew it was ready for prime time. We can't say that now due to all of the stuff that's been going on with the company.
Right. I agree with that. Like I played Overwatch for maybe a good like 6 to 8 months, cause like hardcore before I dropped it because I got bored.
We got the round table up in the house. Shout out to the homeboy King Thrash.
Yeah, what's up, Thrash?
What's up, DPSers?
Diablo. I played a lot of Diablo 3. I didn't really. I'd never played any of the other Diablos.
Before or after the auction house stuff?
After the auction house stuff.
Okay, well, you played the better version.
Because I played it when it came to the consoles. I didn't play it because when it came to the consoles, it came to the consoles right after the auction house stuff got removed. So that all that stuff was happening on PC. I heard about it, but it didn't really mean anything to me because I wasn't playing on PC at that time. And once it came to consoles, I was just like, but shoot, this game fine to me.
You know, the funny thing is the Switch version is still by far the best version.
Oh yeah, that is true. I had the Switch version, and it was the definitive version. It had all the
couldn't believe it.
It had all the DLC, and the game's real easy to run. So even a trash Switch can run it. You know, I had to throw the slander in there, keep it real. But no, like I think this might turn out to be well, at least for the games. I always say a delayed game is going to be better than whatever game you were going to release if it didn't get delayed. So hopefully these games actually live up to expectations. But
absolutely.
Moving on.
Uh-oh.
Forte.
Oh, here we go.
Forte. Did you hear? Sir.
I did hear. I already know what you're talking about, but go ahead.
No, what am I talking about?
Are we talking about, this stems from a conversation from a couple of weeks ago when, God of War was announced to be going over to PC. And it just seems like more and more news, keeps coming out about stuff that's coming to PC for PlayStation. And it's not like we didn't know this already because, the homeboy, Jim Ryan, Ryan, whatever you want to call him, Andrew Ryan, Jamaican Ryan, whoever you want to call him now, the man has been making noise. And
I like to call him Whole Slate Ryan. That's
Whole Slate Ryan. The man has been making moves. And he's been doing it because he wants the platform to be profitable because he used to be a CFO.
Mm-hmm.
Running one of the biggest divisions in the PlayStation network, and he made them profitable. So when the man said full slate, he meant full slate. But Slow-Mo, there has been a lot of leaked documents that's been coming out all over the place about future games that are coming to the PC. Now, like I said, we already knew this was a thing because Jim Ryan kind of said it. Yeah. Herman Holtz kind of said it already. So it's kind of a surprise to some people. But why don't you tell people what was kind of leaked over the course of,
Well, I don't quite want to say this is a leak yet because it hasn't been confirmed. We don't know. This is a rumored leak. There was a GitHub document or something that had games that are in the GeForce database, and these are games that are essentially if they're in the database, that means they're being developed on PC because NVIDIA graphics cards, you need to be able to have like this kind of stuff set up so that NVIDIA graphics cards can play the game, stuff like that, right? So I'll switch over to that real quick. This is a archive of it because it's been taken down, but this is an archive of everything that was in there. What I'm gonna do is just kind of go through and look at a few games that are supposedly coming, and we can kind of discuss whether we think I think some of them make it a little fishy, Huh?
Can you blow your desktop up a little bit, like magnify it a little bit?
I can do that. Is that good?
Just
That
a
might be
little
too
bit.
much.
Yeah, that's a little too much. Yeah.
All right, right there.
Yep,
So
that's good.
now this isn't like for one, like I said, this isn't a guaranteed thing. This isn't confirmed or anything. But I think I just kind of want to go through a few and see if we think it's like even realistic that this could happen. I think some of it is plausible, and one in particular I think probably isn't. But to get into matter of fact, you name a PlayStation exclusive, and we'll see if it's in there.
Oh, Returnal. It's going to be the first game that's going to go there.
Returnal is there, showing for April 30th. And when you see here, it says PlayStation Mobile. PlayStation Mobile has been changed to PlayStation PC, so I guess that's why you see that. But this is being ported over by Climax Studios. Interesting name. sounds like a company that does pornos. But let me keep it going. So Returnal for April would be like roughly like a year since the game came out. Is that plausible to you?
Absolutely. I mean, I kind of figured it was coming to PC the moment I saw the game. It's like it was a game that Sony doesn't. They don't own, because doesn't oh my god, I'm blowing on the developer's name.
For Returnal, Housemarque.
Yes. Housemarque, yeah. Because Housemarque still owns the Returnal IP.
Housemarque, no, Housemarque is owned by Sony.
Oh yeah, that's right. Housemarque.
So Sony owns all that stuff. They own the IP.
At the moment when they made it, they didn't own them and they bought them. That's what it was.
Okay. Yeah. So
Man, Sony's been making so many moves lately. You just kind of forget who they purchased and who they didn't, because they didn't do. It's like the games released, then they purchased them. It was the same thing with Insomniac. Insomniac got purchased after the Spider-Man and Returnal. They purchased Housemarque after the fact. It was like, I'm just waiting for From Software to get purchased now by Sony. That seems to be inevitable too. No, but I think that is super plausible. I'm surprised it's not April. Is April? Maybe because you got games like Horizon.
Did Returnal come out this last April? I know it came out in the spring. I can't remember. It may have been May.
Either May or June. No, Ratchet came in June. It was May.
Yeah, it was May.
18th,
okay, so it was like 11 months. I think that makes sense to me. That's not.
I would think it would come earlier, but I think it's just the fact that they got games. They want to put a lot of focus on games like Horizon, and because that comes out in February.
I actually see another one right here. So Sackboy, A Big Adventure.
Oh, Big Adventures,
by Sumo Digital, Sumo Digital has done a lot of port work in the past, and that's in May. That makes sense. That makes sense to me. Like that it would be, that's like what, a year and a half since, because Sackboy was a launch game, right?
It was a launch game, yeah.
Okay, cool. Any other games?
Where's Ratchet at? Ratchet on this list? I don't know, man. Is Ratchet on this list at all?
Ratchet and Clank.
Is Ratchet on this list?
This looks like. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank is here. It actually looks like it's being ported by Insomniac Games, which that's where things get iffy, right? Because all of the PlayStation exclusive games that have gone to PC have been ported over by a support studio, a port studio like Nixus, like people who do that kind of stuff. Insomniac doing their own port.
Do their own port though, probably.
Yeah, but I don't know. That seems kind of iffy to me. Well, now this looks like the 2016 Ratchet, because if it was the Rift Apart, it would have said Rift Apart. So this is like the Ratchet from 5 years ago. 5 years ago, Ratchet 2016. A good game, definitely a good game. But I see this is one of the ones like that I'm kind of iffy about. I don't know about this list, because that one's like, why would Insomniac do that themselves? And they're working on Spider-Man 2. They're working on Wolverine. They're working on probably the next Ratchet or something. Why would you do your own port and you can get someone else to do it for you? Seems kind of iffy.
I mean, it depends on what Nixus is already doing, though. How many games is Nixus porting right now for Sony.
True, but then look, we saw before they're using Sumo. Well, in this leak
Sumo Digital is being
Sumo
used
Digital
for,
was doing stuff too. So it's like,
who did the one for Days Gone? Was that Nixus too?
Let's look at. I don't know if Days Gone is on here because this is all this stuff is from like 2022.
This is all recent stuff.
I don't know who did Days Gone, but it definitely wasn't Sony Ben. Sony Ben didn't do Days Gone.
No, they didn't.
God of War is probably on here, right? Wait, okay, God of War's not on here. So this is supposed to be all of the games for 2022. Why is God of War not here? Because that's January.
That's true. They announced that.
Right. Look at it. Horizon Forbidden West. September. So this game comes out in February.
6 months later.
6-7 months later, it's coming out on PC. It's a bit iffy on that one. And done by Guerrilla Okay, hold on. So they're developing this game.
I would have expected to see Killzone before Horizon would have been, but then again, the first Horizon is on PC, and
again, what my main issue here is that
Guerrilla is the one.
The Guerrilla is the one that's doing it. That doesn't make sense unless they really have been behind the 8-ball with trying to find studios to do this port work for them.
No, I agree with you on Guerrilla.
But you could throw a rock and hit a studio. I don't think that's the case at all. Like I just don't believe that. It's not even just the date, because if you think about whether they are waiting for games to have hit their apex when it comes to sales and then put them on PC, that potentially, if they looked at Horizon Zero Dawn and was like, it sold the bulk of its 11 to 13 million sales within the first 6 months, so then we could potentially do that for Forbidden West. That'd be fine. But still, when after you release a game, you're not really done with the game. You gotta do. You're gonna do expansions like they did with the Frozen Wilds. You're gonna be doing updates and fixing bugs and pulling out revisions.
Makes sense though. It can make sense though, because normally when a version comes to PC, you're getting the game. You're getting the complete edition of the game that comes with everything, because you know you're gonna get that whatever DLC they probably had during the first 3 or 4 months. You're gonna get on a PC. You're gonna get all that stuff.
This is what I'm saying. Guerrilla's got 2 studios. One's making the multiplayer game. The other one is doing the Horizon games. You're not. And look, we see it with the Microsoft studios where, like for example, first of all, what is that? Kestrel. I don't even know what that is. I just realized that's ZeniMax Online. But hey, they haven't even announced that yet. But whatever that is. But like when Redfall was up here somewhere, right? I know I saw it.
Peter 420 says Guerrilla Insomniac could just be mistakes in the database. In other words, game is going to PC, but the development studio hasn't been finalized yet, so the original developer is listed.
Yeah, but if it's already in the database, that seems to me like it's already being worked on.
No, not necessarily. I mean, ports. It depends on now. If you're doing a full blown PC build, like perfect example, Destiny. Bruh. When it went from
look at this.
Where Redfall Arcade.
No. Look below that. Resident Evil 4 remake.
Yeah, I saw that one.
November of next year. How does Capcom market their games? Do they do a Bethesda where they kind of hit you with the game and then it's like it's coming out in 4 months? Or do they do a traditional publisher way of marketing their games where they give you like a year or two of seeing it multiple times before they say here it is? I can't remember.
No, when they first showed Resident Evil 2 and 3, it was coming out that year.
Okay, all right, okay, so that's fine. That tracks.
So we might see something like, because I was always wondering when Resident Evil 4 remake was coming, because it's definitely coming, and
it is.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to come day and date everywhere. It's going to be PC, console, and everything.
Right. But yeah, even though, look, I'm saying it is far more common that a studio uses a port studio to port a game over to PC than them doing it themselves. What Xbox does, and what now they do it all in house. Bethesda and Xbox Game Studios are kind of consistent with that, where like the Coalition did the PC work for Gears 5. Arcane Studios is doing the PC work for Redfall. That's pretty consistent. But I just like it looks a little.
It's only. No, it does. It looks real spooky when you look at the list and the way that you're looking at it. The only Sony studio I can say where I can see them publishing the game and rebuilding it for PC is Insomniac, because we didn't see how fast they turn games, like full-fledged games, they turn around on one platform.
Here's another one that we got to take into consideration. Now, God of War got announced last month, October 2021. God of War was announced for PC for January. That's 3 months from announcement to release date.
Yeah.
It's now November.
Yep.
Ghost of Tsushima is on this list for February of next year,
which makes no sense. Why would you?
Now, if they're doing it similar to how they did God of War, that means they will be announcing it this month. Because there's no way you're going to announce Ghost of Tsushima for PC in December, and then it's 2 months later or January. Like what? A stealth launch? Hey, on February 8th, hey, go get Ghost of Tsushima. It's on PC.
Like that would be the director's cut too.
Right. So like, and also being done by Sucker Punch. Look, for it, this is where I'm like, where are you coming from? Like this, the studio is what really I think is exposing this is kind of fake, because it's the studios that don't make sense.
Right.
Sucker.
I think
you couldn't secure a port studio and it's coming out in 3 months from now. I don't know about that one.
Is the Grand Theft Auto games day and date on PC? The release one?
No, wait. No, they're not. The Grand Theft Auto 5. Oh, well, you mean the remaster games?
The remastered, are they day and date
I
on
think
PC?
they are. I think they are.
They are.
Yeah.
I know Grand Theft Auto 5 was a year later. Red Dead was a year later. No, I mean, like I said,
Aronimus says maybe they would not announce it during the holiday season, but when? It's supposed to come out in February. When you going to announce it? January? Like that that doesn't make sense that you would announce it that late to me. When you said Grand Theft Auto, I thought you meant like the brand new one, because like Grand Theft Auto 5 was like, it came out like, usually Rockstar waits years to put their like brand new games out on PC. So
it was like I think it was like a year and a half to almost 2 years for GTA 5, and then Red Dead was a full year.
Yeah. Was that a super chat? I don't know what that.
Yeah, Danielle Brown with the $10 super chat. Slow mo GT still king, but for real, you should go pick up the Google Pixel 6 Plus, best Android phone out right now. In a few more days until we see you stream Pokemon. Let's go.
What? Excuse me. Ain't no way.
Have I missed something? What's going on with me?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I am not streaming Pokemon. I would stab my eyes out before I stream Pokemon.
You did say you'd rather play Pokemon than play Bugsnax. You did say that.
Well, that's true. That doesn't mean I'm going to play Pokemon in what do you say, a few days? That's not happening.
Right. Fuzzy Belvedere he's asking a good question. He says, Slomo, what if Nixus is divided up with teams assigned to each studio?
I think that'd be a little unconventional. I mean, it's possible, but I don't really think that's
like they have small teams working on certain, like just to get the port up and running. I can see them having a small team of 15, 20 I don't know how big the studio is, but 10 to 15 developers per studio.
I mean, like it depends on the game. Like I don't know how many people you need to port a game, but
well, the thing is the ports are a lot easier now because x86 Architect and stuff like that. Build most of these games, are built on a PC. That's why it kind of baffles me when people talk about how PC would be holding back the PS5 in development, where 90% of these games are built on a PC and kind of put the spec for PlayStation.
Yeah, just make minimum spec on PC what the PlayStation 5 is, and you're good to go. And if people are get upset and they want to like, oh, I don't like that, I want to play the game. Well, upgrade your PC. Upgrade that potato.
It doesn't stop your enjoyment of being a PlayStation fan. And I mean, trust me, it definitely hasn't stopped people that are Xbox fans' enjoyment of playing them. That all their games are available on PC, and Forza Horizon 5 we're gonna talk about that next. Forza Horizon 5 getting amazing scores out here, but guess what? If you ask an Xbox person, they don't even care that the game's on PC. They just care that the game looks amazing and they're gonna be playing it either tonight or in 5 days on Xbox Game Pass.
I mean, look, the data shows that PC gamers and console gamers are very, very different. Like I'm in the minority. I'm someone I have a beast PC, but I also have a PlayStation 5. I have an Xbox Series S.
We're both in that same category.
Right. We'll go like God of War, Ragnarok. We're not waiting. We're not waiting for that to come to PC. We're getting it on PlayStation day one. When Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 comes out, I'm not waiting for it to show up on PC. And so we are that person that is the double dipper, because when Final Fantasy VII Remake, which was I think was on that list as well, I think it showed for like June, I think, or something like that. But we know there's enough evidence that shows the Final Fantasy VII Remake's going to PC. We haven't seen anything about Xbox, but definitely PC. I will get it on PC. Yeah, but I'm also going to get Part 2 on PlayStation because I don't wait.
Because I don't wait.
I'm not waiting.
Peter 420 says Ben Studio is listed as a developer on the Steam page for Days Gone, so the original developer is definitely a possibility for those other ports.
Really?
And
so they didn't.
So
I didn't know that. So
I didn't know that either.
Days Gone port to PC was done by Sony Bend?
Wouldn't even have known that. That's why you got to check it.
Actually looking at it now, I pulled up an article. It says, speaking to in an interview with Waypoint, Days Gone lead designer Eric Jensen said, "We had a really awesome, dedicated team within the studio that are PC gamers that understand the medium and the platform and what it entails to make not only a good PC game in general and what we want to support out of it, but a good port, taking a title that was designed for a game console and one set of inputs and adapting it to something that is widely varied in support." So yeah, they did do their own port. So all right, I'll take back what I said because it looks like it is possible that they could have other some of their studios do the port themselves because Sony Bend did. All right, well I still think it's a little implausible that Ghost of Tsushima is supposed to be February.
Guerrilla did the PC port for Horizon too.
Although it didn't, though. But Guerrilla didn't do that. There was someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone else did that.
In conjunction with them?
Maybe they worked with them, and that would make a lot of sense. Because if you're a port studio and you didn't do any of the original development on the game, it would make sense that you would want to work with some of the developers to make sure that like you're nailing certain things correctly.
Who's doing the port for God of War? Did they announce the
was announced, and I need to
because right now it says Santa Monica Studios is doing it.
So maybe that what they're showing listed on there isn't like who that developer really is, because God of War definitely is not being developed by Sony Santa Monica. Sony confirms God of War PC has been outsourced. Jetpack Interactive is the studio that did that. So maybe that information just isn't public. But if it's in the database for GeForce database. Wouldn't GeForce database have who the actual developer is? It almost kind of makes it seem like.
Well, it could be just reading what Steam is reading though too, because Steam has these.
But this isn't a Steam database thing. This is a GeForce database. So this is saying, but it's still NVIDIA.
It's still reading probably the same API that Sony has listed for Steam. Just because, you got to think, if they have that listed on Steam as those developers, what would make you think they would actually list it anywhere else different? Because if you're on the biggest PC platform, you would think that, hey, we're going to give whatever information is on that platform is kind of going to be consistent across all of them. They wouldn't pick GeForce to say, oh, we're going to give you the actual developers and not Steam the actual developers. So Sony might have just gave a blanket statement on, like, these are the developers of the game, and we're just going with them as being the developers. And then if you want to know more about who does the port, that stuff is being,
I'll leave it at this. I'll leave it at this, and then we can table this for a later episode.
It's a good conversation about it, though.
Absolutely. I think that whether it's true, this list is true or not, will be determined with the whole Ghost of Tsushima thing, because that's supposed to come out in February. Right. Now, of course, things could be delayed internally, but if you were slating that for 3 months from now, and then last month you told us about God of War 3 months before launch, if it gets to December and they haven't announced Ghost of Tsushima for PC yet, I think the whole thing's fake.
Oh my God!
How does that? Does that not make sense to you?
No, it makes sense to me. No, I said, "Oh Lord," not what you were saying. I'm just saying, "Oh Lord," what Big Mike said to you. He said, "Slow-mo, I need you to stop what you're talking about and show me your gaming credentials."
That's funny. and you know what? I can just so easily, tell you, hey, go to my Twitter profile, and it's all there. You just look at me. I got all my gaming accounts there, so you can look at all that stuff all you want. But what I'm not going to do is tell you, how dare you, question my gaming credentials, sir? How dare you?
I don't know. Everybody feel like they can question you after yesterday's show. Ooh.
You keep bringing this up as if like it means anything.
It was like the greatest thing I've ever seen, Slow-mo. I've never seen it before.
There's nothing that you saw because nothing happened. Anyway, can we get back to DPS podcast?
Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the chat bringing up, going back and forth. Love the conversation because you guys need to go to Twitter and on the people's YouTube channels and go in their comment sections and give this same type of knowledge, trust but verify. Just because you hear us talking about it doesn't mean it's gospel, doesn't mean it's true. I love the fact that you guys are going to Steam pages and looking up this information yourself and bringing it to the podcast, because guess what? Most people don't do that, and we appreciate you guys for doing that because it lets us know that we're actually dealing with very smart individuals and gamers that actually know what they're listening to and talking about. So I appreciate you guys for that.
Big facts. So we can move on. But before we move on, I think that like if it gets into December and Sony hasn't announced Ghost of Tsushima for PC,
then list is a bust.
Yeah, the list is a bust because it's just like, of course, if it gets into February and it hasn't been announced yet, it's supposed to be for February 8th, then clearly it's a bust. But I don't think they would do. I think the way they did God of War was like, this is the absolute last point in marketing where we can go ahead, get the page set up, get everything, everything set up where they go into Steam and Epic Game Store and GOG and all the other various places that's going to show up at, and have it announced to get pre-orders out there and all that good stuff. Like 3 months before its launch on PC seems like you're up against the wall and trying to get it out there, and to go beyond that doesn't make sense to me. Yep. But let's talk about Forza Horizon 5. So title here is Forza Horizon 5 Game of the Year ? Because I mean, this is the third Forza Horizon game that has hit over a 90 Metacritic. But Forza Horizon's getting great reviews. A lot of people some people that we know in the community who got a review code for the game are enjoying it. Yeah, shout out to them, man. I tried, but little slow mo with his little channel can't secure things like that. But I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that this game is turning out the way it was. No one doubted Playground Games would do it again for the third time. But what do you think about this game being a Game of the Year contender? What are your thoughts on that, Forte?
It's about time if it does. I feel like games like this kind of get snubbed because they're considered sports games and they're in that type of category where it's just a game that's annualized every year. And, even knowing Forza Horizon isn't every year, it's like, it has been like every other year. And they did take an extra year off in development this time around. But I would welcome it actually being there. And I think it would be a really good change of pace. It would kind of be more of a telling of the changing of time, because I think when you look at a game like this, photorealistic, HD camera tech, the new Forza tech that they're using in general, the game it's a looker. It stands out. And I think some people kind of just overlook the gameplay aspects of a racing game. Like, this isn't just your traditional racing game. You have, track base, you have off-road, you have gravel roads, you got changing environments, you got, connectivity across the whole game, platform to platform when it comes to PC and Xbox, and has to run on multiple different platforms. Like, we always say that Xbox the system is being held back because of the older systems. But if you look at this game, you're like, yo, this looks incredible. So a development studio can definitely put their best foot forward and give you something that kind of stand out amongst other games and stuff. So the only thing that's going to kind of hold this game back from the Game of the Year discussion is the fact that more or less that it's a 5 at the end of it, and it's nothing new. Like, if this was like a brand new IP, like this is the first, like if this didn't have a 5 and it was Forza Horizon, the first one they made, and it looked like this, then you might be able to say that this would be it could be a Game of the Year. But the fact that people are kind of, they're kind of, they know what the Forza name means. They know what Horizon means as a subsection into that might kind of hold it down a little bit. But just in pure scope and the way that the game looks, I haven't played it yet, so I can't talk about the feel. But the one thing I will say consistently across. Listen, I put it on Twitter today. I tweeted a screenshot of the buy screen for the season pass for the bundle for $44. I said, do I buy this now? Because I'm going to end up buying it because I like having all the extra content in Forza.
But can't you with Game Pass Ultimate play it early?
No. They don't give you the so the way you play this game early is if you own the bundle where it comes with all the DLC. So they call it the ultimate upgrade download. So it's $44 because the game by itself is normally $100 if you get the ultimate edition. So, 60 for the game, 40 for the what's the name, or 45 for the what's the name. And if you own that unlocks you to be able to play it 5 days early. But if you don't have it, you got to wait till Tuesday. That's when the Game Pass free the standard edition drops on Tuesday, which is the 9th. But if you, or the 10th, but if you, the 9th. So, but if you pay for the $50 upgrade, that's what if you don't have a review code where you've been playing it over the course of the last week, you could play it tonight if you buy that $50 pass, which is, it does have the value. The value's there, especially if you're going to play a lot of the game, because if you ever played Forza, you know the DLCs by themselves are incredible in the Horizon DLCs. Like
yeah, and traditionally having access to the game doesn't give you access to those deals. Even with Game Pass Ultimate, you like with Forza Horizon 4.
You still have to buy all the DLC.
Yeah, I couldn't play the what was it, the like Lego one or whatever.
The Lego ones are some of the best, and which is kind of
Hot Wheels and crap like that. Like I haven't been able to play any of that stuff because I don't have.
The only thing that's super unfortunate about that is the fact that there's been a Hot Wheel game that released this year. I kind of don't know if we're going to get an actual Hot Wheel version of the game this year, because they actually had a release of a Hot Wheel game for the first time this year. So who really knows how that goes? But no, you can play it tonight, which is a cool thing if you do have that digital upgrade path. If you don't, you just got to wait till Tuesday. But I will be playing this. It looks incredible, and I'm hoping it's a game of the year.
How long are you going to play it, though?
I put about, what did I put? Like 90 hours in the second one. It really just comes down to... Well, not the second one, the fourth one. I played a lot of Horizon 3. This is the thing. Horizon 3 was incredible to me. It was better to me than 4, because I felt like 4 kind of just took what 3 had and just kind of changed the environment, and they added the seasons, which was the biggest change, but it really wasn't nothing drastically new for me. Whereas, like I said, I haven't played this yet, but everything I see just in the illustrations of what people are showing, it seems like they did enough to actually make people say, okay, this definitely looks a step above what they did in 4. Because up to this point,
visually it's definitely
the visual side of it is incredible, but I think Mexico
just looks nicer.
Yeah,
no shout out to our homies in the UK, but Mexico just looks better than the UK. It does. It looks better. It's got better environments, better like vistas. It looks better.
The tech is just
mature.
It's mature to a point where, like, what's going on? Like, I'm almost interested in like what's going on with motorsport at this point, because it's like, if Horizon looks like this, what are we going to get from? You kind of forget that
the next version of Forza Tech engine is going to be showcased with the next Forza Motorsport, which will be the version of Forza Tech that will be used for Fable. Because they did announce that Forza Tech would be what is being used for the Fable game, which I thought was, I know some people were a little disappointed by that, because like it's a racing game engine. And so, you get the people who don't know anything about development to be like, oh, so what you're gonna be doing horse and carriages in Fable? Like, like some of that's jokes, but most people just don't understand that, like, the engine can be adapted. Any engine can be adapted for different uses. You just gotta build the assets and the parts of the engine, the tools necessary to adapt that engine towards the kind of game that you're working on. And sometimes some engines are better at that than others. Some engines are designed to be used with like a variety of different genres, like Unreal and Unity, but and some of them are designed specifically to work for doing specific things, and they need to be adapted to go forward and modified to go forward, like Frostbite engine, which is made specifically for Battlefield at one point.
So I'm gonna ask you the question, because like answering your question directly, I do think it's gonna get nominated for Game of the Year, because I think it does enough different to get it nominated. And what they just said in the chat, it was Alvin said in the chat, he said, I think it will get nominated because I think Jeff might have 7 nominees for it this year. If that's the case, if we get more nominees, I do think the game deserves it, because it is not just being a fan of the franchise. I just feel like we're at a point now where we just gotta stop treating racing games like Forza like every other sports game, because it isn't every other sports game.
And that is why I say it's not getting nominated. They're
going to treat it like every sports game.
They're going to treat it like every other Forza game. Look, Forza Horizon 4 came out in 2018. it had a higher Metacritic score. You know they love Metacritic and using Metacritic to
94,
justify
right?
things. 93, I think.
93.
It
Yeah.
had a higher Metacritic score than half the other nominees for Game of the Year that year. Coincidentally, in 2016, when Forza Horizon 3 came out, that game had a higher Metacritic score than half the games that were Game of the Year contenders. It doesn't matter. It's not getting nominated because it's a racing game. And racing games, no matter how good they are, best racer ever, best arcade racer ever, however you want to call it, it's not getting nominated for Game of the Year because of what it is, which is a
Right.
racing game. The people who make these decisions on who gets nominated are not unbiased. They're not objective when it comes to this stuff. There are certain genres that don't get nominated, and there are certain genres that you could have just like a really good game in that genre, and because it's better than other games in that genre for that year, it'll get nominated. This is why you see games that like some people didn't enjoy, but other people thought was a really good game, like Control, get nominated, and it kind of shocked some people. Control's here. Assassin's Creed Odyssey gets a nomination. That's here. Action RPGs get nominated all the time. But have a traditional straight up RPG or a XCOM style strategy RPG like Fire Emblem Three Houses. Nah, fam. you don't get nominees over here. If you were an action RPG, maybe would have gave you some love. Assassin's Creed went from being a stealth game. I don't know, has Assassin's Creed ever been nominated for Game of the Year things before they made the switch from stealth to action RPG?
Part of me wants to say 2 got nominated, but I don't know if it didn't win.
All right. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is up there. You know, like it got nominated the same year. Was that 2018? It came out?
Yes. Odyssey was 20. No, Odyssey was 20. See, it was last year, the year before last. Valhalla was last year. Did they take a year off, didn't they?
They normally have a year off, and then
so that was 2019. 2019.
Okay. But I mean, whatever it was, it got nominated. Like it's and then so people mention Overwatch won over Eraser. It said if Overwatch can win it, Eraser can get it. Erodimus. These are two different genres. Overwatch is not Eraser. And not only that, that's the other thing about some of these game awards. There are your darling developers. And you know who they are. It doesn't matter what they do. Their games get nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Bethesda used to be that. Used to be a darling developer. Their bugs are called charm. When other people's bugs are called, how dare you release this game like this? But their bugs, charm. Oh, it's cute. You know, my game just crashed. Oh, I gotta start over completely. Oh, that's so charming. Bethesda, they're such kidders. No, it's not okay. Until Fallout 76 came out.
Right.
Then people was like, all right. Charm is over. That's worn off.
Right.
So Starfield's not getting the same level of a pass that their Fallout 4 got. I think Blizzard was a darling developer with Overwatch, where
they were
back then they were still considered the one of the pinnacle developers of the gaming industry. Everything they did was gold. And so when Overwatch comes out and it doesn't have any single player content, it's all multiplayer with only like a dozen characters and maybe like 4 or 5 maps or something like that. Like basically a little bit more than what we got from Bleeding Edge. It's Blizzard. Nominee. Winning Game of the Year. When Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 come out, is Blizzard getting the same treatment? I don't think so. You out here sexually harassing women. You out here treating your employees like absolute garbage.
Yeah.
Nah. The honeymoon's over. It's over. You those games better be fire, or you're not getting anywhere near a nomination. It like these darlings get they get taken out. But when you're in there, you're in there. CD Projekt Red was in there. Now they're not. And we know why. But yeah, I just feel like this isn't going to be it. If Xbox Game Studios breaks their drought of games not that are first party games that, well, actually, The Outer Worlds was nominated, even though they were only owning Obsidian up until like the very last end of that development. But that actually kind of gets into our next topic. Let's actually just move on towards that too.
Mm-hmm.
So you think it's going to get nominated, Forza Horizon 5? I don't.
I think more like you that it's not because of the situation, but it still doesn't change the fact that I feel like it shouldn't be treated like every other sports game, because I think Forza isn't every other. Like every other sports game is Madden or NBA, where they make minute changes to the game to bring out an annual release. Whereas Forza Horizon isn't an annual release, it's every 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they do change a lot in the game. Just thinking of just the whole the scope of how many licenses they got for just different cars and environments that they're doing. So this, like, I can get with people saying that a racing game doesn't do enough to like garner itself to stand out amongst game of the year contenders normally in a given year. But when we're talking about a year like this year, where it's already slim pickings, most of the games that came out this year kind of been underwhelming. There have been some standouts like Ratchet and Clank and Returnal and stuff like that. But even games like that, Returnal had faults, not working day one when it came out. Far Cry is probably going to be up there for the game of the year discussions. Death's Door is going to be the median darling when it comes to games like indie releases and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't tell me that Forza, with all of the work that Playground puts into it, can at least get a nomination. It may not win, but it should get nominated. And this isn't just Forza Horizon 5. 3 should have gotten nominated at some point.
Yeah.
4 should have got one of these. This is the thing. One of the 3 last Horizon games should have been nominated. And it will always come down to the newest version, especially if they keep upping themselves every time they do it. You kind of got to give them their flowers at some point. So I'm 100% thinking where you are. I'm 100% thinking where you are. That's not gonna happen.
Michi Dies Alive.
What'd he say?
Michi Dies Alive says it is breadeth, not breast. Let me guess, because you said this before. You meant to say breadeth, and you said breast.
Oh, I probably did. Okay, whatever.
You this is not the first time, but I just thought that was funny.
It's not the first time. It won't be the last time, sir. But I just think at a certain point, it just deserves to get its flowers. And even if it doesn't win, it should be nominated, because that's how good the games have been over the last decade.
Now, I do agree that it deserves to be nominated. Though when you make the best of a game in a certain genre, when your games come out, they deserve to be nominated. They're excellent games. But the problem is that because it's a racing game, it doesn't matter if it deserves to be nominated. It's just not gonna. And although it deserves that, let's kind of get into
what's going
Xbox.
on, Mav?
What's up, Mav? How's it going, man? Let's talk about some Xbox first party.
Okay.
Let's talk about
the first party that people think don't exist.
Well, people know it exists. People just want to see the games, and I think we're getting kind of a taste of what is possible with Xbox Game Studios and Bethesda and the ZeniMax Studios, that whole Xbox Bethesda collection of studios. Right. So this year it's probably they're actually, despite all the trolling people do on Twitter and stuff like that, their best year with the quality of games issue. So you know how like all the memes about like every Xbox game that comes out, it's a 69 Metacritic, 60 Metacritic, that kind of thing. We had Microsoft Flight Simulator that was like a 90 on Metacritic. That actually technically came out last year, but it also came
Yeah.
out on Xbox. So on Xbox, it got like a 90 Metacritic. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Psychonauts 2, non-exclusive, but the studio Double Fine is now Xbox Game Studio, first-party studio. 87 on Metacritic. I think that was the highest it was. I played through it, beat it, enjoyed it. It was a good game. I don't know if I would go back and play the first Psychonauts or not, but I thought Double Fine did an excellent job with the game, and I'm glad that based upon what Tim Schafer said in regards to the boss fights, that if they didn't have those boss fights in there, if they didn't get acquired by Microsoft, then they wouldn't have been able to have the time to put the boss fights in the game. And I thought those boss fights were great. I couldn't imagine playing that game with no boss fights. That would have been just weird. So I think the game was better for it. Now the next one, Deathloop. You know, I don't really like Deathloop, man. Look, and this is probably because I don't really care for arcane games, even though I'm interested in Redfall next year because it's supposed to be more of like a looter shooter, like Borderlands style, and I love Borderlands, but nothing that Arcane has made has ever really grabbed me, and I've tried them and they've just been like, nah, it just doesn't work for me. None of the Dishonored games. Deathloop wasn't it either, so I bought it on PC. It's got an 87 Metacritic on PC, but it's not for me. But I recognize people enjoyed it and the quality of the game overall. And then you got Forza Horizon 5, that's a 91. So you got 4 games with 87 or higher Metacritic this year. What do you think in regards to this, in regards to where Xbox first party is going? Because now we're at the tail end of the games that from studios they acquired that are still multi-plat. I think almost everything else going forward now is going to be all within Xbox ecosystem. Oh wait, no. Ghostwire Tokyo would be the last one that would be multi-plat. Everything else would be strictly, unless they acquire somebody else who's doing something. You know how it is, right? But what do you think about the quality of the game so far and what they could do in the future?
I think the quality of the games have definitely gotten better. First of all, the fact that we're getting more than Halo, Gears, and Forza, even though we are getting a Halo game this year, it's just nice to see a breadth of different content coming.
Oh wait, hold on. Peter 420 is right. I missed Age of Empires 4, which is PC only.
Oh yeah, that's PC only.
It's now on Xbox. PC only, and it's that's an 84 on Metacritic. I thought Age of Empires was higher. Let me double check that.
Yeah,
Metacritic, but go ahead. That one.
No, I think the content
82 actually. It's 82.
But yeah, I think the content has gotten drastically better. I mean, but the biggest thing is you're coming from essentially nothing to what they're at right now.
Right.
So I think it's kind of hard to kind of gauge. I mean, Psychonauts is a game that was in development before Microsoft purchased them. I do give them credit for the purchase though, because they did, like you say, they added things to the game that would not have been possible to be put into the game, like boss battles and stuff that was put in there, because they did have the time and the funding behind Microsoft to actually put that stuff in the game, which definitely overall helped that game a lot.
Right. Like another one is In Exile with Wasteland 3, although that was last year.
And that was in the last year. And that was a sleeper. You know, a lot of people that
was a really good game. And if they didn't get acquired, I played it. I didn't finish it yet, but I plan on coming back to that one. But it was just too many stuff coming out at the time. But that game, Brian Fargo, the studio head for In Exile, said that because they got acquired, they were able to do voice acting for the entire dialogue.
Dialogue of the game, yeah.
I can't imagine playing that game and having to read everything.
To read all of the text on the screen, that would have been pretty crazy.
Yeah. I'm be good on that. My bad. Continue, man.
No, yeah. So I think in general the quality has gotten better, but I think it's kind of still incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
It really comes down to I think next year for them is the telltale, because that's where you're going to see a lot of their studios that they purchased that, release games for the first time without any restrictions. That's when you're going to kind of see the quality of those games stand through light.
What's slated for next year besides
Just
Redfall and Starfield?
And Starfield, but I think there's going to be other games that are going to get announced. I mean, those are the only ones we know about, is Starfield and Redfall. So I think there's going to be other. Well, I'm hoping there's more than just those, because as of right now, everybody's kind of like betting on 2023 being the turnaround for Xbox really showcasing all their games, because by that time, that's when you're going to start seeing things like Fable. You'll start seeing that gameplay for that. You might see stuff from like the Contraband game, and you might get a chance to see other games that's developed, like what's the Initiative. You probably get a chance to really see Perfect Dark at that time. So, and everybody's really want to see what's going on with Hellblade. So I think,
yeah, completely forgot about Hellblade too.
Yeah,
and that like those it's just like Mav in the chat says probably Motorsport, and that's probably right. Forza Motorsport probably will be, typically with the Forza games, they are announced until E3.
And
then they come out. Yeah, and then they come out later in the year. So we probably will see Forza Motorsport for the first time in June. But that's 3. I mean, like of 3 games is better than nothing. And especially if one of those games really hits. Like if Redfall turns out to be a sleeper hit, that'd be great. If Starfield is a return to form for Bethesda Games Studios, even though I've kind of felt like all their games have always been terrible, but that's me. Then great. That's great. But and Forza Motorsport's awesome. For those the racing sim fans, it's awesome. But I don't know, man. I kind of feel like 2023 is going to be where it's really at.
2023 is going to be the coming out party for them. I just think next year is going to kind of be. I don't think it's going to be as bad as this year was, because this year was kind of hit with a bunch of delays and stuff. Halo's at the end of the year. And then
I didn't really mention Halo, right?
Yeah, because that game, I mean, who knows what's going to happen.
Look, the multiplayer is going to be good. The multiplayer is going to be good. That campaign, though, I'm a little leery on the campaign.
Yeah.
I hope I am wrong. I'm going to stream it. I'm going to be playing it day one, and I hope it's good. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. So time will tell. I just think that they've been doing a lot better. I think if I had to say the last thing, I think the one thing that kind of holds Xbox from really standing out is the fact that a lot of the studios that they did purchase had a lot of IP that was already being tied up by contractual obligations for other studios.
Yeah.
So games that they probably would have got credit for, like, Outer Worlds and stuff like that, they're getting credit for the second one, but games that were as good as the Outer Worlds, the first one, they don't really get credit for something like that, because that was already done before they got purchased.
But like that. Some of these games, even if they went the route of, let's go ahead and shout out to No More Oscar for subbing to the channel. Appreciate you, sir.
Shout out to you, bro.
Even if they would have gone the route of, hey, look, we're going to go to whoever was publishing that game, and we're going to tell them, we're going to double whatever it is that you put into this, so we can get you off of it and make it exclusive.
Yeah.
Even if they did that, I don't think you could do that with Wasteland 3 and Psychonauts 2. And that's because both of those were started as Kickstarters initially. So now you actually open yourself up to litigation when someone says, man, I put money in. I do a Kickstarter so I can play this game on PlayStation. And then the studio gets acquired, and now it's not coming to PlayStation anymore. I want my money back. I feel hurt, damages, all the stuff people do to try to sue, right? I think they would probably just went ahead and kept Wasteland 3 and Psychonauts 2 going, but Outer Worlds, go to private division and be like, drop a fat stack down and was like, it's exclusive.
Right, exactly.
You're all for this, and that would have been out. The Outer Worlds is a really good RPG. That would have been all within the Xbox environment, but that's not how they roll, which is fine. They could do
Yeah, I like
things how they want to do it.
Yeah, I like the direction you're going in. I really like what people in the chat are saying, because we're talking about Xbox in the first party, but we got to remember that, Game Pass pseudo makes third party games feel like their first party, because you're getting them inside of subscription service that you already have and you don't have to worry. So like talking like fun speculation, like Matt talking about Stalker 2, coming out.
That game looks amazing,
and that looks dope. And guess what? It's not an exclusive game to Xbox, but guess where it's going to be at? In Game Pass, which kind of raises the overall thoughts of what that game is going to be. And then you talk about what Alvin is talking about, how games like Replaced and Plague's Tale was inside of the service and everything. And think about games like Deathloop going to be in Game Pass when it finally does come off of the PlayStation platform. Ghost Tokyo Wire, that's going to be another game that's going to hit in there when it finally does. So even if they don't have a lot of first party games, like we named we named three like ones that we think are going to be there. Something like Forza Motorsport. We know Starfield's going to be there. Redfall's supposed to come out next year. Even if they just have those three and everything else does push to 2023, where we think that's going to be the massive push for Xbox, they're still going to have third party and second party relations that are going to bring games that we're not even thinking of coming to the service that is going to kind of, blow people away. Is it going to be like MLB was when it was like this FU move to Sony people where people didn't expect it to happen? Maybe not, but could we get a better version of something like Outer Worlds and stuff? What is the name of that game? Outriders. Can we get something that works better than Outriders in there? We didn't expect Outriders to be in there day one. So it's kind of a tale of two stories when it comes to Xbox, what their studios are going to put in there and what Microsoft is going to do in the service sphere to bring games to Xbox gamers. Which, if you're an Xbox gamer, you're in it's a good time to be an Xbox gamer because all the stuff that they can do with the platform.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I see Rodimus and a few people in the chat talking about the Gunk and Crossfire X that was supposed to be coming out this year. Yo, it's November, man. It's November, and we haven't got any information on those. They haven't given us an update on either of those games, really. So, yeah, especially Crossfire X, which has a Remedy doing the campaign for it. I don't think they're coming out this year, which then goes to, hey, look, these are games that, if you're within the Xbox ecosystem, you can look forward to in 2022, because they clearly look, it's November. If they were coming out this year, why no one really wants to release a game in December. That's like a we got no choice kind of deal. Scorn is another one, right? Scorn is next year. Like these games aren't coming out this year, which is fine, because I'm always on the side of delay the game if it's not ready, because we don't want to play something that's a disappointment because it doesn't work right.
Right.
But nah, I don't see them coming out this year.
Yeah, I think it mostly just comes down to just timing. Alvin just said, Atomic Heart Scorn, Guardians of the Galaxy probably. I can see Guardians, like, say it gets nominated for like a award at the game show. Like say it does get nominated for Game of the Year. I could see Xbox going on stage saying it's going to hit Game Pass for the month of January. I can see that because
that's possible.
Because they have a really good relationship with Square Enix, and we see Marvel Avengers is in there now. We see the Tomb Raider games and stuff in there, so I can easily see by that time, to maximize kind of the hype around a game like of Guardians being nominated for something, Xbox saying, yo, and guess where you can play it at? If you haven't played it, you can play it in Game Pass. And at that point, for the most part, the game already hit critical mass. It will get like a slight bump for being nominated in whatever category it's going to get nominated in. But I think Game Pass will still kind of help boost that overall appeal of the game even more at that point. So I wouldn't say it would come before that, but I can easily see January, February, Guardians of the Galaxy could be in Game Pass, and that could be something that for a lot of people that don't, get brand new consoles, you got to remember people are still looking for them.
That said, because Forte said that is a possibility, don't go, man, I'm just going to wait on Guardians and wait for it to show up in Game Pass.
I bought it already.
If you want the game, if you want to play the game, drop that money down and play Guardians of the Galaxy right now. It is a really, really good game.
It is a really good game.
It is worth it. So just play the game. But no, let's I think
Mass Effect. Can you imagine? When is that going to hit Game Pass through EA Play?
Oh, through EA Play, probably. Wait a minute, that should have happened already because Mass Effect. I know
it's usually 6 months. It came out in May.
Yeah.
So it's about that time that they should be announced. Maybe that's something that they could announce at X. Ooh, can you imagine at the 20th anniversary when they do their announcement that they say Mass Effect Trilogy is coming to Game Pass?
Yeah, that would be a good gift for Game Pass. Although I feel like if you wanted to play that,
you already played it.
You already bought it. Yeah,
I already own it.
$60 for 3 great games.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, let's move on to our last topic here, which is the Xbox. I'm sorry, the Sega and Microsoft strategic announcement. And I
think games in there. You made sure to steer clear of Sega and Microsoft Games Alliance. You just put Alliance. Good for you.
There's not enough space.
I know. I'm just saying, good for you for not following the trolls.
Oh, look, man.
That's what I'm saying. Slow. I love you, slow. You always think I'm trying to angle you in some direction, but I'm actually I'm giving you a compliment. You like, I got to think about this because Forte. Let me think of this before I answer Forte.
Yes, Matt. We're gonna talk about that. Matter of fact, let's talk about it. Actually, no, we'll wait because we'll get the full idea, the whole idea, just in case with the whole alliance thing, in case someone isn't aware of it yet. But let me actually wait a minute. I gotta find the article, and then I will add this in. All right, so let's move on to.
Shout out to Erodimus with the $5 holla. Says Forte talking crazy. I'm gonna need to get his gamer tag and his bank account number.
And the bank account number. Good grief.
Right.
All right, so look, on Monday. Was it Monday?
Yes, it was Monday.
So Monday, right? Monday, we got a announcement, a press release from Sega Corporation in regards to a strategic alliance with Microsoft. And the press release says Sega Corporation. Oh man, I hate the legal ass speak. All right, fine. Sega Corporation.
We need Hogue up in here, man. Hogue, we need you.
Right. Yeah, we need all the legal speak. Shout out to Hogue Law. Sega Corporation, hereinafter referred to as Sega. I hate to have to. Okay, all right, we move on. And Microsoft Corporation, hereinafter referred to as Microsoft. Have, hey, look, Microsoft Corporation, not Xbox people. You see, as they say, let me stop. Have agreed in principle a strategic alliance that explores ways for Sega to produce large-scale global games in a next-generation development environment built on the Microsoft Azure cloud platform. The alliance will form a key part of Sega's mid to long-term strategy, allowing the business to move forward with quote-unquote super game, a new initiative for developing new and innovative titles where the key focuses on global, online, community, and IP utilization. With the world now more connected than ever following the widespread deployment of 5G and cloud services in recent years, consumers can more easily enjoy high-quality entertainment content at any time within this highly connected environment. The ecosystem surrounding the games industry continues to evolve and expand as more sophisticated tools and technologies become available. As such, video games continue to grow as a major medium for gamers globally, with access to a vast range of gaming experiences and communities becoming more diverse and attainable. The proposed alliance represents Sega looking ahead by working with Microsoft to anticipate such trends as the accelerated as they accelerate further in the future. The goal is to optimize development processes and continue to bring high quality experiences to players using Azure Cloud and technologies. Microsoft and Sega have agreed upon the foundation of this alliance, and through mutual cooperation, will look to build further technological evolutions with areas such as the network infrastructure and communication tools required for global online services being a key priority. Additionally, by shifting to a next generation development platform, Sega can effectively adapt to diversifying work styles and potential infrastructural changes. So, we have some comments here. One's from the president and COO of Sega, Yukio Suguno. He says, we are very pleased to announce today that we are considering a strategic alliance with Microsoft to help develop Sega's new Super Game initiative, as well as build a next generation game development environment by considering a strategic partnership with
There she is.
Hold on, no. I gotta stop right here, okay?
Oh no, I know what you're talking about, but go ahead. I just
because there were people online on Twitter who tried to come in my neck for calling it a strategic partnership. But no, sorry, slow-mo. It's a strategic alliance. It's different. Okay, that means they're getting something else out of it because it's an alliance. It's not a partnership. The freaking COO and president of Sega called it a strategic partnership. Okay, fanboy. So get off my neck. Get off my ball sack. All right. I wasn't wrong. Moving on. Considering a strategic partnership with Microsoft, we seek to further advance our game development so that our titles can be enjoyed by fans all over the world. In this regard, we aim to build an alliance that utilizes both Sega's powerful game development capabilities and Microsoft's cutting-edge technology and development environment. And the wonderful Sarah Bond.
Yes.
What wonderful Sarah Bond.
Will be the head of Xbox at one point.
You know what? I absolutely agree with you now. Seeing stuff, her spearheading stuff like this really.
Every time I see her, she's like I think Phil Spencer is literally grooming her to take over.
I don't. You know what? We can't use words like grooming anymore, man.
Okay.
Not in 2021. The whole.
You're right. Okay.
Not grooming. Preparing. There we go.
You know,
much better.
Setting her up for success.
Right. There we go. So from Sarah Bond, CVC for Microsoft Corporation, Sega has played such an iconic role in the gaming industry and has been a tremendous partner over the years. We look forward to working together as they explore new ways to create unique gaming experiences for the future. Using Microsoft Cloud technologies, together we will reimagine how games get built, hosted, and operated with a goal of adding more value to players and Sega alike. So, Forte.
Yes, a lot of stuff said there.
What do you get out of this? For first question for you. Hold on, let me ask you a question first, okay?
Yeah, go ahead, ask me the question.
I read literally the entire press release.
Yes, you did, the whole entire
and I need to drink something real quick because I'm kind of parched. Give me a moment.
Yeah, yes. Go ahead. You can ask me your question.
Okay.
That's refreshing. Was it
Did you see the word Xbox in this entire press release?
Nope. I saw Microsoft, and even when you look at Sarah Bond's name, it doesn't say Xbox on it. It just says Microsoft.
Okay. Just okay. That's the first question. Second question: did you see the words "exclusive" anywhere in this press release?
Nope. Only thing I saw was the word partnership, sir.
Partnership and alliance. Gotta make sure you got alliance in there.
Partnership and alliance.
Because if you don't say alliance, then people act like you're misrepresenting what happened. So,
alliance just means you're part of a team. Partnership means you're someone's helping you develop something. But yes, go ahead.
So, all that said, how did people come to the conclusion?
Yes,
that this means that Sega and Xbox Sega will be making exclusive games for the Xbox ecosystem.
Oh, well, that's an easy one because Sega is what kind of company is Sega? Slow-mo? What kind of
third party?
Company? No, what kind of company are they? What are they like?
They're a gaming company.
There you go. I'm about to say, are they in the cooking or something? They're a gaming company. Microsoft.
You imagine getting some cooking from Sega?
Right, exactly, from Sega.
We make pots. Go ahead.
And when you think now, if you were to take the word Sega and you put Microsoft in it, do people even see the word Microsoft? They just see Xbox. They don't even see Microsoft. They just say, oh no, that's Xbox. It's not, people that got to realize they are very, very intentional with their choice in words. They didn't use the word Xbox in this because, yes, does it benefit the Xbox? Absolutely, because it's going to allow them to, be able to develop these games on a platform that's going to be suited for what the Xbox is going to thrive in. But that doesn't mean that those games are exclusively going to be on said Xbox. It doesn't say they're exclusively going to be in this ecosystem of just the cloud network. It's just saying that just like Sony's partnership with, and that's the funny thing, people did this when Sony had their partnership with Xbox or with Microsoft. Does this mean we're going to get PlayStation games? It doesn't seem like that conversation went as hard as this one went, because it seems like everybody in their mind kind of just clearly understood that there's no way that Sony's putting games on Xbox. This is just a strategic partnership just to be able to use the infrastructure of the Azure cloud to further their online capability. Same thing is happening with Sega, but the only difference is Sega is a third-party company that develops games for all platforms, and Phil Spencer has been known to be over in Japan and in different countries talking to these developers about how he can get games brought to the Xbox platform. But as you can see, Phil Spencer is not even being mentioned in this quote or any of this. Sarah Bond is the person they went to, who happens to be one of the most influential people under the Xbox umbrella. But even when they talk about her, they talk about her being the CVP of Microsoft, not Xbox, because this has everything to do with the infrastructure that Xbox Live and Xbox in general lives in, but is being powered by the overall umbrella of Microsoft. And that's what this partnership is doing. They even talk about the strategy of the long-term strategy of building super games going forward using the infrastructure that that Microsoft can provide them. And that's where this partnership is at. Does that mean that Xbox isn't going to benefit from this partnership? Most likely, absolutely, because if someone is using your tech in order to build something, more than likely that means it's going to be kind of tailor built for your platform, because your platform is the thing that's going to be in it.
I wouldn't say tailor built for your platform, because because it doesn't necessarily have to be exclusive to be on your platform.
It's not going to be built,
but it definitely will be there. Like, I do think this does mean that more of Sega's games, and it's not like Sega's games have been like the Xbox library is devoid of Sega games. Like, that's not the truth.
But I do think the games are going to be tailor fit for the Xbox platform because it's their platform. So in order for it, inherently, this is still Sega developing the games. Microsoft is just providing the tools. We don't know how they're going to use. That's the thing. So I'm not, like I said, I agree with you. I'm just saying this because you even admitted this too when you were going back with somebody on Twitter, and I kept saying, why are you feeding this person? I said, you just like hearing yourself talk at this point. But hey. I agree with what you're saying 100%. But the one thing I do agree with the other person is we can't say with 100% certainty that it won't lead to that. And you even said yourself, you was like, that doesn't mean that I'm not saying, like you said, I'm not saying that this is not a possibility, because once you have a relationship with somebody,
you can build upon that.
You can build upon it. Anything can happen.
Yeah. But like when you married your wife, when you met your wife, it wasn't like, hey,
when I met my
wife, what up, girl? Let's get married. Like, no,
I didn't know I was having a kid in 9 months either. So
it's like that. That's not like how reality works. With a relationship, it builds upon that. You go out on a date, you see how things going. She cute. She cute. She feeling me.
Popcorn. That's all she get.
So you take it down to the Sequoia. Shout out to the Sequoia. Like, look. You build upon that, and then you reach the point where you say, this is the only person I want to be with. Let's get married, right? And so, like, there is like, people are jumping the gun out here with the
That's what
whole.
they're doing.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is going to be this, and like even Jay in the chat's all like, I agree with the first part of what he said when he said he doesn't know about exclusive games, but games will go day and date and Game Pass. Look, I can
No.
I can see some of them probably going day and Game Pass, especially if you're using if the game is developed off of Azure Cloud, which I made sure to do a fine for how many times Azure Cloud showed up in this press release, and it's twice. But then he says at the end, including Persona, I truly believe Persona has nothing to do with any. Persona is a turn-based RPG being made by Atlas. At no point do you need to use Azure Cloud for really anything that Persona does. And their games largely go all the way back to Persona 3, 4, 5. Their games aren't really doing anything very different than what they were doing before. They stylistically they look better, but it's still foundationally Persona 4 Golden is no different than Persona 5 Royal.
Right.
In a lot of ways that the game plays. Persona and those games have been exclusive to the PlayStation platform. Like where you're just speculating, which is fine to speculate, but speculation is different than this is happening, guys. Like I saw stuff on Twitter where people was like completely misrepresented this entire press release, where people were like, Sega and Xbox have entered into a partnership, and now these games are going to be exclusive on or coming to the Xbox. And I'm like, some people were like, oh great, and the other people were like, yo, where did you that none of that is in this announcement whatsoever. Look, let me just go ahead and type in Xbox, and how many times do I see Xbox pop up? None. Type in exclusive. Nothing. Like it doesn't. This.
I have a question.
And I'm not saying it can't come to that point at some point. And this is what we're talking about, building a relationship. But
what browser are you
getting
using?
there? The browser?
Yeah. What browser is that?
Chrome.
I have a question. You're gonna think it's stupid because I always wondered this and I never just took the time to look.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do the find feature in Chrome?
Oh, really?
I've never done it, and I always wonder how people do it.
It's Control and F. You just put Control and F.
Okay, Control and F.
And then you type in a word, and they'll find it anywhere on the page for you. So
there we go. Okay, now I know. Because listen, I saw you do it, and I was like, this is going to be the most dumbest question ever. But guess what? I tell my people at work, no matter how dumb the question is, ask the question because you'll never know if you don't. And I saw you doing it, and my anxiety kicked in. I was like, oh my god,
you wanted to know so bad.
That I don't know how to do the find feature. Okay, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you.
It's all good. Look. You were not alone. I'm pretty sure plenty of people listening to and watching this right now didn't know that either. But either they'll pretend like I always knew that. Damn, I didn't know that at all. But like, hey, look, we every single day we learn something new, so no big deal, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, all I'm saying here is that I think people really misinterpreted my tweet. Maybe I should pull up my tweet. Oh man, I had to mute that thing. I was like, that thing was toxic, huh?
Your tweet thread?
Yeah, I think it was toxic, man. I had to mute that the way some people was coming at my neck. But like all I was saying was that like people are going too far and saying we're getting exclusive Sega games. Would be great if you did. And and it's not saying that can't happen at some point. It absolutely can't happen. We see both Erodimus and Mav have brought up Total War coming to Game Pass day and date, as well as Football Manager 2020 whatever coming to day and date in next year. Like what we have to acknowledge with that, and I'm gonna switch back to
I'm gonna tell you something that I think switch back to the other screen, but I'm gonna tell you something where you could get kind of excited if this news, instead of it being Sega, was Nintendo. then you might be onto something. Because if they partnered with Nintendo to use Xura as a means to be able to develop games, then you might have an opportunity to say, wait a minute, is there a possibility that Game Pass could probably end up on Switch? And the reason they're doing that is so they can actually get the Switch to do streaming straight to a console. Then you can start see, it's all about the developer you're talking about. Like I can see people going back crazy about an announcement with Nintendo doing something like this. But if it's something like Sega, it's like we're really doing it to just build games, then yeah, Xbox is going to benefit from it in a slight way just because they're the platform holder and they have an interest, because we don't know what kind of deal they made with Sega. Maybe it could be the fact that, hey, Sega, we're going to allow you to use our infrastructure for a fee, but not a fee that we would normally charge most people, because guess what? We want to get dibs on some of your games to be put into our service day and date when they come out. There's all types of backroom deals they can make to be able to do that. Yeah. But the overall deal in general doesn't really have anything to do with gaming per se. Not gaming, but nothing to do with exclusivity of a game not going to another platform. Right. It's just that they're using Microsoft for what they're good at, which is the infrastructure that their games are being developed in order to make those games better for Sega and just gaming in general.
Right. And so look, I'll repeat again, like, you know, like them getting one, we don't even know if Football Manager and the game I'm showing right now, Total War, weren't games that they had already had some kind of agreement to get into Game Pass ahead of time outside of this entire deal. What that document brings up, and the reason why I highlight Azure Cloud multiple times, is that this looks like Sega has an idea on a super game or a super game initiative where they want to start coming up with ideas that of games that cannot be possible without the use of cloud. Like, imagine playing a game that is so big and so vast and so detailed that it's impossible for you to have it stored locally on your SSD. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no storage possible for that. Imagine playing a game where it's typically the kind of game that in scale that would be like a isometric view with really poor graphics, but instead you're looking at it and it's got the visual fidelity of like a Sony first party game.
Right.
Like, that would be impossible to do on your local storage, but possible through cloud, where you could stream those assets in and you don't have to worry about how it's going to run on the hardware. Imagine, you know when I was reading this press release, right, and I was looking at what Sega was talking about, and I found something else, a PowerPoint slide where Sega was talking about the Super Game Initiative thing, and I was thinking, yo, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Oasis. Mm-hmm. Oasis in the book. I read the book, I haven't seen the movie yet, but Ready Player One.
Yes.
The Oasis, which is VR, so none of this says anything about VR, right? But the Oasis was this VR game that turned into so many other different applications, and within the Ready Player One universe, where it was being used for schools, but like it's everything, and it's all running through essentially like a cloud environment, because it's impossible for you to have that running on some kind of local hardware, and right. And I just thought about like where this is going and the potential of it. And it makes a lot of sense to me that Microsoft, not just Xbox, but Microsoft in general, would really want this to work, because Azure Cloud is the number one way they make money at Microsoft now. Its platform is vast, and gaming is where they definitely want to grow in more. But Microsoft isn't just doing B2C, which is business to consumer, which is like all of the stuff that we see towards us, Xbox, Game Pass, the games coming out on PC, the games coming out on Xbox, xCloud, all that stuff is B2C. It's how they market their products to us. But we don't hear about the B2B stuff, the business to business stuff. That's what this is. This is business to business. This is, and for them, this is really good for them to be able to market what they're doing with Sega to other publishers.
Right.
Because Ubisoft uses Azure for their servers in a lot of their games. They do it in Siege. They do it, and I can't remember all the other ones, but they do it in multiple games. Ubisoft sees something like this, and maybe Ubisoft is like, we can do that too. Or we could do something similar that we've been prototyping, but can't figure a way to make it work. But maybe we could adapt that with cloud. So maybe we'll do something similar to Sega is doing. That's the B2B stuff. That's that business to business stuff. They do some of that already with like Havoc Engine, which is middleware that a lot of people use. A lot of publishers, like everyone uses it. Sony first party studios use it. This is taking things a step further. Microsoft is investing themselves into gaming. And don't take this, hope no one takes this as this means that they're getting out of making Xbox or first party games or anything like that.
Right.
But they want to be so invested in gaming that they're literally in everything.
Yep.
They're in, look, I do it at work. Visual Studio, the application is in a lot of ways is how developers, programmers use like develop their code, write it out, debug it, package it, get ready for use. All like that stuff is you. Like they make a lot of stuff that we don't ever touch, but within the gaming industry, it's absolutely essential. And so they want Azure within the gaming industry, which is on the scale of entertainment, bigger than the movie industry and the music industry combined. They want to be ingrained so much in the gaming industry that it's not just about what money they're making on Xbox, but how much money they're making in everything. Game development, the tools that people need, all that stuff. And they want these publishers and developers to be subscribed to Azure the same way they got my company and other companies subscribed to Office 365, paying on a monthly basis for all these other services. That's what they want. It's more than just Xbox. I just want people to get it into their head and understand that this is more than Xbox for them. It's about the entire suite of the things that they do. It is about Xbox. There's absolutely no way Sega is going to, I mean, it is about Xbox in the sense that there's no way that Sega is going to make games based off of the things that they are getting from Microsoft here, and those games don't go to Xbox.
Right.
That's not happening. Okay, they're not making a game that's going to be exclusive to PlayStation. But the reverse was exclusive to Xbox. It doesn't work that way. That's not how it works. It's more than likely they're a multi-plat developer, publisher. It's more likely going to be a multi-plat, but we'll see. And it's exciting to think about what they could come up with. But that's, yeah. I'm done monologuing, man. What do you think about that?
No, I think you're spot on. I do. And I think, Viceroy D World said they want Azure to be the backbone of gaming, and
yes, absolutely.
That's a really good assessment right there. You know, at a certain point, Microsoft sees the benefit of having a platform that people come to. It's the reason that Epic has Unreal, because Unreal is one of the best engines out there to develop on, and a lot of people clamor to be in it. And that's also why they allow you to use it for free until you sell, I believe, your first $1 million, and then they start taking royalties after your first $1 million.
Yeah, and Epic is ingrained in gaming. If Epic if they stop making Fortnite, look, even before Fortnite, Epic was they were essential because because like so many studios use Unreal Engine. And they were smart to say, you know what? For all you indie guys out here that can't afford the royalties, that can't afford the licensing fees, it's free. Go ahead and use it for free. Everything, MetaHuman Engine, all that stuff. The Lumen, and the whatever the heck the other lighting thing is called, all free. Go ahead, have fun. Yep.
Yep.
But if you blow up,
we coming for our piece.
We coming for our piece.
Yes. Yeah, like I said, it's not, and you got to, and when they mean blow up, we talking about millions.
Yes.
You know, it's not hundreds of thousands. They say, you know, your first million is on us.
And then even smarter than that, we want to talk about even smarter than that. You put your game exclusive on the Epic Game Store for a certain period of time. Those licensing fees,
they disappear. Yep, you don't even pay for the licensing fee, no matter how much you pay.
Look, it's smart business. Because and Epic is going this route because they realize just making games and publishing games is that's cool and all, but there's so much more money to get out here. And Microsoft knows that. For like, you don't become a $1 trillion corporation by just doing things one way forever.
Remember the conversation a long time ago? I believe it was like towards the end of the 360 generation, where people were like, it was like rumors, like really, really crazy rumors about Xbox giving away the next Xbox for free. Do you remember those rumors?
Hold on a second. Erodimus out here saying he's gonna get Sarah Bond to come on DPS. Erodimus, let me explain something to you, man.
Listen, man.
You get. He said, but everybody gotta be on camera, sir. You get Sarah Bond to come on DPS. I'll be on camera. Absolutely.
I would too. I'm already on camera.
I'll be on camera for that one. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
I'll figure it out when the back end will work.
Right. They don't have to see they don't have to even know about the channel at that point. Yeah. He gonna make sure he does it on my channel. He'll do it on my channel so they can't come his channel.
We'll figure it out. Right?
Yeah.
But I know I say that because I don't think that's I don't think you.
Hey, that would be a great thing. I shout out to Big Cloud. He got Kate Yeager on his channel yesterday, and Kate Yeager's I love Kate Yeager. I met her a couple of times the last few years that we did the conference for GameStop, because she's always one of the presenters and stuff there. Mm-hmm. Super down to earth. Seeing her in that, like, that's the one thing that's the one thing I love about YouTube. If you take it serious, they'll take you serious. And she seems so comfortable with him and Blaze on that podcast that she kind of opened up and just talked about just gaming with them. And it would be nice to, have that same type of feeling on the show. I know we can do it. It just comes down to getting the exposure to actually have that happen. So Rodimus, man, if you made a YouTube, I would super chat to your channel, your Twitch or whatever, if you did something like that, bro.
Yeah. So I think that we've exhausted all topics at this point. Anything else you want to talk about, man?
Yeah, I guess I do want to bring up one thing with you. Oh my God, what was it? Oh, I gotta give you your flowers, because gotta do it at least once every show. I watched Dune.
Mm-hmm.
Dune was good. Like, really good.
Yeah.
It was good. Now, the only thing I'm going to disagree with you on is this whole Star Wars thing that you talk about. Now, I will agree.
What is there to disagree about?
Listen. I will agree with you that Dune has some Star Wars elements, or Star Wars has some Dune elements in it. I will agree with you on that. But we can't say that Dune is is better than Star Wars off of just one entry of Dune. Let's see.
Okay, how many? Dune's better than Star Wars because Star Wars copied Dune. That's why Dune is better than Star Wars.
No.
No. But there's no. It's true.
No. We have to see what Dune does over the course of this. How many games? Like, the next was what, 2023 for the next for part 2?
Yes, 2023.
And how many parts is it? Is it 3 parts?
I think that Denis Villeneuve, the director, it says he would like to. He's on the record of quote that said he would like to do 3 movies, which would be 2 of the books, because he split the first book in half because
he split the first book in half. Yeah,
so lore heavy, but he doesn't have to do that going forward now that he's established the universe and everything. So Dune Messiah is the second book, and he could probably just do the entire second book in one movie.
I hope he does, because I love, like, it was kind of like you said, the world building, the storytelling was kind of slow in it, but like I can't deny the overall just a look of the movie. It was authentic. And it looked really like chaotic. I mean, like very, very, very subdued in the way that the overall presentation of the movie looked.
Mm-hmm.
But for the environments that they use, it looked spectacular. I was like, this is a whole nother level right here. Now, like I said, Star Wars has done. Now, this movie is definitely better than a lot of Star Wars movies. There's Star
like
Wars
all
movies
of them.
No.
Yes.
There are Star Wars movies that are they're better, but I am willing to give this movie in this franchise a chance at the crown, depending on what the next movie and the movie after that does. If they can finish this out as strong as they started, I will give you even more flowers than I ever gave you in your life, because I didn't expect to enjoy this movie as much as I did. I thought I was going to be bored.
How many times have you watched it?
Say what?
How many times have you watched it?
I watched it twice.
Twice. I've watched it 3 times so far. I know people who have watched it like 4 times.
Yeah, the first time I watched it, it was kind of like, it's like the first time I watched it, it was more of sitting there and I was kind of bored out of my mind at first. Because and another thing is Taz kind of, you know, this is what you don't do. You don't let your friends influence you. I saw Twitter and Taz was like, this dude boring as hell.
I'm not surprised that Taz feels that. I think Taz's taste in movies is awful.
He said it was boring as hell, so I was like, "Oh man, this sucks." So
that would have told me it's a good movie if Taz felt that way.
So I was watching it, and I was like, "Man, this is boring." And then I put it down because plus it was late, and I was tired. And I was like, "Okay, I can't watch the beginning of this movie when I'm tired because you'll literally be bored out of your mind." So I watched it. Then I watched the first time I watched it over 2.5 days. Because it's only a 2.5 hour movie, but it was just super boring. I was like, what the heck?
I
watched it.
Look,
no, it was. Listen. Look, I watched it, but then
you have to establish the universe.
You do. But then I listened to you on Scumcast on Saturday, and you were talking about it, and I said, man, let me just watch it again all the way through, just literally do it in one sitting. And, you know, I knew it was going to have ups and downs, so I kind of watched it in the middle of the day on my day off. And I paid attention to everything was going on, just like I would do in any other movie. And I was like, yo, this is really, really good storytelling. Like the flashbacks, the futurescape, everything with his son and everything, and seeing it. No, it was crazy. It was really, really good. So I definitely wanted to tell you that. I told Luca I hate doing this because it's just another phone over my head. I said, the first thing I said, I was like, man, Slow-Mo gonna be like, I'm gonna tell Slow-Mo this movie was good. It was great. It was amazing. And the first thing he gonna say to me is, Forte, I tried to tell you. I told you before, you need to listen to me, Forte. And it's, I don't really want to hear that from Slow-Mo right now, but I'm gonna tell him anyway. So
I appreciate you admitting the truth, which is my taste in movies is immaculate. It's perfect. It's great, and you should listen to me when I say things like Star Wars is overrated, copied formats from other things like The Foundation and Dune to create its universe, and it's kind of like it's the copycat. Now finally, Dune is getting its flowers, and good for Dune. Myself, I'm still enjoying the heck out of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's great. I'm glad I gave the game another shot actually after seeing it initially and then seeing some other people play it, actually, you know, see the full gameplay. I don't know what Square Enix was thinking when they marketed this game, because they did an awful job with the trailers and the reveals of it. But it's a really, really good game. Shout out to Eidos Montreal for really holding it down with it. And this game's good, yo. It's I'm at like the 13th chapter. So I think it's a total of 16 chapters, so I'm close to the end. But I'm just really, really enjoying myself with it, and I could even go probably see myself playing it again, and going through it again and making like slightly different decisions and seeing how they play out, even though they're not like the different decisions don't really change anything drastically. But you know, it is what it is. Shout out to Big Mike with a $5 super chat. Says slow mo. How did you leave Luca hanging when she called? First, let me explain.
Oh
something.
yeah, you know this was coming up.
Explain something real quick, okay?
Go ahead.
I'm in the Twitter space. And I know some of y'all just did a deep sigh because I mentioned Twitter spaces. But yes, I was in the Twitter space, okay? I'm in this Twitter space. And I'm speaking. And we're talking about stuff. And look, I know it's me saying this, and maybe I'm just patting myself on the back. But what I thought I was saying was very eloquent and very, very good point to bring up, whatever,
Okay.
right? Luca calls me while I'm talking. I see Luca calls. All right, I'm gonna call her back. As I'm still speaking in a Twitter space, I see a tweet come out, and it's Luca, and she's like, "I can't believe Slow-Mo ignored my phone call because he's hanging out in the Twitter space," and I'm like, "This is clearly a setup." She knew I was in that Twitter space speaking, and she called me anyway. And shout out to Luca, right? But she called me anyway, knowing I was talking, I couldn't answer, only to just make that tweet and to try to make me seem like I was sitting in the Twitter space doing absolutely nothing. So she called and just swiped her call off the screen, just ignored her, which did not happen. So I had to try to correct the record, and then a bunch of people told me that I should have just, oh no. When I did talk to her, she's like, "You should have stopped mid-sentence while speaking, said Luca's calling me, and left the Twitter space." And I'm like, "Are you serious right now?" Does that make any sense to you, Forte?
Listen, man. She was setting you up.
She did it, yes. Absolutely setting me up. But no, like I've been playing this game. Like I said, really enjoying this game. I'm still playing Far Cry 6. I am not enjoying Far Cry 6. I'm about to drop it. It's just no.
How far in are you?
Not that far. I just did the part where you do the mission and you burn the drugs or the crops or whatever at that factory. I just finished that. I just don't care about Far Cry, which is fine. Like I think I got burnt out on the Far Cry format, even though it's been years. But like halfway through Far Cry 5, I was like, "Nah, I'm good." But I finished it anyway. But I was kind of done, and I'm playing this one, and I still got the same feeling from Far Cry 5. Yes, and those a little different. I do think the story is a little bit better than Far Cry 5's story, and I do think that I like that they actually gave the main protagonist a personality this time. But yeah, this might not be the one for me. I might have to drop it. But outside of that, playing more Road Company, shooting people in the face, slaughtering everybody as usual. I think, you know what? I think I might be done with Splitgate.
Oh, what?
Dude,
what's wrong with it?
Splitgate's community is gone again.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm fighting bots all over again.
Oh.
So it used to be that when I played with my friends, I would fight some bots because they were still fairly early in the game. When I played solo, it was sweaty, all sweats, because I'm at a higher level. The way they do their matchmaking, they matchmake you by level, and my level's pretty high, and I just matchmake with all the people who would just no life the game. So it was sweaty every match, which I also don't really prefer that. Like I'm not trying to be like wiping my palms off after every match because it's that sweaty. Like, and we like to dominate. So like I get my, when I play with my friends and I'm playing up against noobs, I'm getting 30 kills, 0 deaths. Well, that happened one time, but mostly like 20, 25 kills, 3 or 4 deaths, right? By the way, you about to see a massive glitch here that's in Guardians coming up, where with the whole sliding around things, it's really annoying. But yeah, but now I'm getting like, when I play against the sweats, it's like 15, 17 kills, 10 deaths, that kind of stuff, right? Which is fine. Like competitive matches, I got no problem with competing, but when it's every match like that, it gets annoying. And now it's gone from that to, I don't even get matches like that anymore. Now I see some familiar faces again. And when I say those familiar faces, I mean the bots. The bots are back. I know them by name. and they're back now, and I'm like, well, crap, man. Like the bots are easy. These aren't the Spartan bots in Halo Infinite, okay? That could actually get a kill on you from time to time. These are some really dumb bots. They just do the same things over and over again. They're too easy to kill. Now, by the way, you're gonna start seeing this glitch here where, as you're like, you can't, like, you start sliding through things with Guardians, and then it forces you to turn around and go back.
Yeah,
when you turn around and go back, it doesn't let you turn the opposite direction, so you actually have to follow through with it. And so I
follow through just to go back.
Yeah, and it's just like, I had to just reload the game. That was my only reload the checkpoint. That was my only way of getting out of it. It was really super annoying, but yeah, see, it's doing it again. But yeah, I think I uninstalled Splitgate for now. I want to see what 1047 Games comes up with next. I think that they were ill prepared for the amount of traffic they got. What their launch on consoles was bigger than what they ever thought it would be. And the game got so big that it was doing higher concurrent numbers than other mainstay games. But I don't think they had the content to keep it. And hopefully, because I know they got that 10 million investment from some investment firm. Hopefully that turns into them adding additional content into the game that people are really, really going to enjoy, and because I think people enjoy playing the game a lot, and if they had more content, they would just keep playing the game. They would play the game some more, and I think that's where I'm at with it, is that I'm just tired of playing the same modes over and over again. So I'm good.
I'm with you.
K-Sante says, don't say that too loudly or everyone will start thinking his bot master status is warranted in Halo Infinite. Well, look, K-Sante, Everborn going up against the what do they call them? The Marine bots? The weak ones. That's nothing. That's nothing. I'm talking about the Spartan bots. I want to see him actually beating Spartan bots before I think he's ready to play actual players. No, man, I think that's it, man. Anything you want to talk about?
No, well, I guess the last thing I'll mention to you, did you see the Halo Collector's Edition? They got leaked today from Walmart.
I saw something about that. So what is that about?
So yeah, it's 170. Comes with the Dark Horse desktop portfolio. It comes with a energy sword lamp. Actually, a really nice looking energy sword lamp. Okay. Comes with the art book. Comes with a certificate of authenticity. Comes with a plasma pistol that is a bottle opener, which is pretty cool.
What? That's pretty cool.
A plasma pistol that doubles as a bottle opener, which is clear too. Is really, really cool looking. Comes with a steel book and comes with 2 lanyards and a bunch of patches. And it comes in this nice little Halo Infinite crate box. You know how the Diablo, you know how Blizzard used to do their collector's editions, how the box used to look. It kind of reminds me of that type of box, the way that it's set up, like this really, really nice box that they would just.
How much is it?
It's $170.
Does it come with the game?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It does come with the game.
Okay. All right. That's the only thing I want. Like, okay. That sounds nice. The only thing that's in my mind is, does it come with the game?
Yeah.
Because these collector's editions that don't come with the games, they need to be ashamed of themselves.
Exactly. Yeah, it does come with the game. And I did read, because they actually did. It says steelbook case with full game, set of 5 patches, plasma pistol replica bottle opener, energy sword desk lamp, set of 2 layers including 1 UNSC charm and 1 ID wallet, mini art book, desktop portfolio, and developer notes. Limited, which is really cool, to 10,000 copies. So it's going to be rare too.
Yeah, I can see that probably having a lot of resale value in the future.
Yeah, it's going to be super rare. So, I mean, I don't know if the thing for me is, it's like, I'm really interested in this because I own every Halo collector's edition that's come out. But do I really want to spend $170? I really want to know how big this energy sword is. Like, how tall is this? Like a 12-inch energy sword? If it's a foot,
Pause.
I would, yeah. Pause. As you can tell, I don't ever think of stuff like that. That's why I don't say pause half the time. But I forget who the people I be around. So even if you don't think like that, you gotta say pause because everybody else thinks like that. But I really want to know how. I can't even say a word. I want to say length, but I got to say pause after that too. I really want to know what the length of this thing is. Pause. Just so I can, because if it's like 12, I might buy it because it's a really good looking energy sword. It's just a mock-up, but we'll see. I guess we'll see an actual illustration of it when they do the 20th anniversary stuff on the 15th. Because they got leaked from Walmart and no one else has. And it sold out immediately as soon as it got leaked on Walmart's website.
Wow.
So Halo's alive and well, man. So definitely check it out if you haven't. And tell me what you think of it when you see it. But no, that's all I have, man. Everything else has been good. And I just been playing Guardians and playing Destiny as usual. I think I'm just ready for Battlefield to come out at this point. It comes out on November 19th.
You got 2 weeks.
I got 2 weeks, man, and then hopefully the game works on day one. And I was contemplating picking up Vanguard just because I am kind of interested in the single player for that game. But the thing is, as soon as I know I buy it, I'm not going to play it. So that's kind of how I am with Call of Duty right now, because I really haven't heard anything good about it.
Yo, it comes out tomorrow, right?
That's what I'm saying. It comes out tomorrow, and there's no.
I haven't even seen any reviews for it.
No, that's what I'm saying. No buzz whatsoever for this game. A Call of Duty game with no buzz, bro. It's insane. I mean, there's more buzz for granted, we're in a community where Forza being a first party game is going to get a little bit more buzz than a Call of Duty game. But even then, it's still no reviews, no nothing that I've seen for it. It's kind of worrisome. But other than I guess I'm gonna make a decision tonight on Forza if I'm just gonna plop down the $45 and get the pass today, because I'm gonna buy it eventually, because I like having all the DLC for it. But I'm also thinking, like, if I wait like a month or two, I could probably get it for $25 because Xbox always doing sales on their DLC. So
yeah, true.
I guess it really comes down, do you want to play it 3 days early and pay full price, or 5 days early, or just wait? I'll make it. The community's telling me to do it. Everybody's putting up themes of Emperor Palpatine saying do it and execute Order 66. So shout out to the Xbox community for being super excited for the game. But nope, other than that, man, it's been a great show and I appreciate all the work you put into it.
All right, no problem, bro. I did want to apologize to everybody about us not having, for those who listen to the podcast on mobile and strictly audio format on like your Spotify and all the other stuff. We did not upload last week's
No,
episode.
technically, I didn't. It was my fault. I was dealing like listen, and slow mo. I appreciate him for saying that because he knows I love him. But that was on me because last week I had the PlayStation 5 launch at my store. And normally I try to upload it on Friday night, Saturday morning. And I downloaded it and I just completely because I was you remember how I was on Scumcast on Saturday. I was tired and I just forgot to upload it. So it's up there now. So if you didn't get a chance to listen to the audio version from last week or you didn't check out the live version, it's up there now. So check that out. Slow Mo usually gets these things up by Sunday. So you'll get this one by the end of this weekend. But I'm gonna be more attentive to make sure I pay more attention to get that up faster for you guys. So that ain't Slow Mo's fault. That's my fault.
I appreciate you owning it, man. We got the Ash and Luca in the chat, and before I get into the Luca's comments here, shout out to ATL for the $10 super chat, and all he says is support, and that's all you got to say, bro. Appreciate you for doing that, sir. We love to have you here, part of the DPS community. And they speak about someone else who's a part of the DPS community. The Ash and Luca is here. Apparently, some people dimed us out and went went to Luca and said that what did she say? Hello, not y'all accusing me. I'm not gonna refer to her term for me, but setting me up. It certainly seemed that way, Luca, that you did. Both me and Forte agreed that with the swiftness of you tweeting out that I ignored your phone call while I was talking in the space. Excuse me.
Hey,
That
man, I don't know what Luke. It just seems.
oh,
like
don't Forte,
no,
do not walk it back.
I'm not walking it back. I'm just saying it's just kind of funny to hear like literally like she called you, did a tweet went out 2 seconds later.
Yeah. Called me, tweets out, not Slow Mo ignoring me while he's listening in the Twitter space, which I wasn't, I was speaking. But regardless of that, and everything else I said was accurate. She wanted me to leave the Twitter space while I was talking, all that stuff. Shout out to Luke with the $5 super chat. I got shooters, baby boo. They stay snitching as they should.
I like her. Listen, man, Luca, I love Luca, man. She got shoot saying my shooters out here snitching on people. That's what I'm talking about. Big Mike that went on Twitter and DM'd her. It's like, yo, they ain't here talking. Someone here talking mad mess about you right now. I will give you a heads up. She gonna come for your. I think she gonna come for your neck on DPS on Thursday.
For this,
who knows what she gonna come for your neck on.
I don't understand. What did I say that was inaccurate?
I'm just telling you to protect your neck on Thursday because I have a feeling she's gonna come for you. Not Thursday, sorry, Saturday. Yeah,
that's all good. It's all good. Look, I didn't. I told no lies. she tried to come at me for talking in the Twitter space while she was calling, and then wanted me to leave. This is she not denying it, as you know this here. So yeah, let's finish things up. I got some videos I'm still working on. I know you guys have heard it before. I'm making a personal note to focus in more on it. I'll have the videos that I'm working on out very, very soon. Shout out to Aradams for the $5 super chat. He says, Slow Mo, stand on your square, brother. Unless the person birthed you or they birthed your offspring, you don't drop what you were doing. Thank you. Or Aradams is absolutely right, man. Absolutely right, sir. I called Luca back as soon as I was done. So should be all right. Should be all right. But no, I'm working. I'm working on a couple things. I thought I would have access to Forza Horizon 5 through Game Pass, and I planned on streaming that tomorrow, but it looks like I don't. So I'll just stream it next week. Tomorrow, we'll see. We'll see what I don't know what I'm streaming yet, but maybe I'll forego streaming to finish up the one of the videos that I've been working on for a few months now. So we'll see what happens, but I appreciate everybody for coming through. Great show, Forte. I appreciate you being here. Great chat as usual, being their usual intelligent, informative selves, because why wouldn't you be intelligent and full of relevant gaming information when you are a part of this community, right? So let's get up out of here. Hope y'all have a great night. And of course, wait, okay, we got another super chat. Let me do the super chat before we leave. Shout out to Luca for the $5 super chat. I take a couple of shots at these nut job bots, and suddenly Erodimus don't got my back, shaking my damn head. After his passion with the $10 super chat, another killer show, gentlemen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, bro.
This is gonna go on all night, so let's just go ahead and wrap this up before another one comes through and Rodimus is shooting back. Y'all have a great night, man. And as we always say, yo, enjoy your games. And y'all take care of yourselves and be safe. Peace.